Hello, 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 everyone. And I am super excited for us to get things started for day three. So, welcome to day three of AI for Business. I am Rodrika Bennett, your moderator or host of the event. And today we have some amazing content and things for you to learn about. I'm going to share a couple of AI tools later throughout the day in between some of our guests. And I want to kick everything off by sharing a clip that came off this year from Mark Cuban, who really kind of set the stage of what we need to be considering as business owners when it comes to AI. So let me share this clip with you. Okay, guys. So that clip was from Mark Cuban on an interview on CBNC, and he's literally telling everybody that AI is not going anywhere. And if you are a business owner, that you need to learn how to be able to use AI. He's telling you you can't just hire someone to use AI, but you need to know it as a business owner, and that AI is not even able to be regulated by the government right now. So I will definitely tell you that right now is the time to embrace AI and find how to leverage AI and how to actually get it into your business, because that's going to be essential for you when it comes to actually moving your business forward in the future. There are a lot of different AI platforms that are out there that can get you started. If you are one of the ones who are just now getting started in I can give you a couple of platforms and share those with you throughout today. So I'm super excited about that aspect. But what I do want to do is jumpstart everything off with our first presenter of the day, Miss Smith, and she's going to transition to the stage. Let me pull her up. Okay, there we go. Let me remove myself so you can have full.
Hello, everybody. Sorry about that. How are you? Um, am I starting my presentation now, Rodrika? Just want to make sure I'm clear. I wasn't sure if I'm just open and going.
Yeah, you can get
Oh,
started. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and you can dive right in.
well, I have been a personal brander for, I would say, since I was a kid. I was always the person who, the kids that didn't fit in or what people called nerds or things like that. I would always see their brilliance and remind them of that. And so I grew up to be that same person, helping people remember their brilliance and also telling the world about it and also helping them make money. That's essentially to me what personal branding is. And so today I'm going to share how you use your cool talents or the things that are cool about you to find the exact people that want to connect with you or just naturally connect with you. Because I think in branding, a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to put something together and everybody's going to come to me. But that's not how life is. We all know that. Think about high school or college, and there's thousands and thousands of students, but there are only a certain amount of people who connect with you and you connect with them that bring joy and growth and things like that, and that you can bring value to them because that's your audience. It's the same in branding. And so it's really key, I always say, to know who is that audience. And we'll talk about that today once we get started on the presentation. Did you want me to go ahead and start presenting?
Yes, you can.
I'm sorry?
Yes, you can.
I don't see any people though. So is that
Oh,
okay? Is that normal?
yeah, so you're on the back end of the stage. You're not in the front. They're watching though.
Oh, okay. I felt like in a vacuum, like nobody's here. I was like, what's happening? But that's okay. I just wanted to be clear. I wasn't sure,
Oh,
the
yeah,
flow. Just let me.
yeah, they're watching. Let's see.
Are you answering some questions or something?
I was looking at the comments right now.
Oh, okay. Oh, what are some of the comments?
Oh no, they were looking saying here, so that's why I was
Oh,
trying to see if there were any questions. Yeah, I love the format of how, because right now we're actually while you're setting up things, I'll kind of talk to the audience. So right now we're actually using StreamYard to host this webinar series, and StreamYard actually has a lot of built-in AI features now, kind of like how Riverside used to have AI with the magic clips and how they're developing things. So now when you're actually hosting the events for StreamYard, you get two different links. You have the presenter link and you have the watcher link for it. So you can actually get more analytics using the AI of StreamYard, which is an amazing feature. So those who are going to jump into workshops and doing webinars and different virtual events, this is an amazing tool that you can really embrace.
I see. Because I've used the StreamYard in the past, and it would integrate everything, because as a speaker, you kind of need the other side to fuel what you're doing and to see where you are, So is there a way to integrate it? And maybe I need to log in. Is that what the problem is? Or should I log in? You think maybe I would hear better or see them? It says everyone you're in the show, everyone can hear and see you, but I can't see nobody. It's like
Yeah, it's
it
because
can,
it's just that you're on the back end. It's not that part.
okay, okay.
Because if
All
you
right.
log in on the other
Let me
side, you may end up having echo.
got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. All right. So if you're ready for me to start, I'm ready to start.
Yeah.
I'll
Let
get to
me
present. I'll present the all right. Well, hi everybody. I hope she shares any comments or questions. Rodrika, if you have any questions along the way, feel free to pop in and interrupt me at any time because I love to meet people where they are, even though we are, in here together. And I have something to say. I still want to hear you guys' feedback and how you're feeling about some of the things that I'm talking about, because I teach this small segment of personal branding and AI on a regular basis, to be honest with you. I teach a class for GoDaddy, and it's about how to build your website, which includes building your brand. And so students often get like, so how do I do this and how do I do that? So I'm going to do a little bit of information, and then we're going to go right into ChatGPT and actually use the what I'm saying today. So I am going to get my where is that? Oh, where is that? Moment. Share screen. Okay. Okay, there we go. Share. All right, present. I'm going to go to the beginning. All right, as you guys know, what we're talking about is personal branding with AI. And it's really about how to use this new tool to do exactly that. My name is Shauna Smith, otherwise known as the Marketing Muse 360. I have been personally branding people, like I said, since a kid, but as a business for about 12 years. And it's a natural thing for me, but there are so many tools and things you need to learn um, along the way to actually get your message conveyed to others. So, why build your personal brand? So I would say people ask me this all the time, like, what difference does it make to have a personal brand? So the reason you want to have a personal brand is it is a way to make money, to close sales faster, to make an impact on the world, to help people know who you are for their problems and challenges that they have. Um, and over time, if you keep the same brand over time, your brand is worth so much money and impact that if you start building it now, if you haven't, or if you have, you can build several businesses, causes. I mean, so many collaborations, partnerships, projects, podcasts, everything by just having a brand that everybody understands. And this is the trend, and this is where we are in life. Business people want to hear the heart of business now. They don't want to just buy tissue from Johnson and Johnson or whoever. They want to know why they should buy the tissue from there. And that's why online shopping has become bigger with regular people like you and I who have online stores, because we're telling stories, we're sharing on TikTok. And as you notice, TikTok shops have blown up as well because of the same thing. So what is branding? Your brand is your promise to others. What is it that you're going to show up as all the time? Um, because a brand is not something that changes all the time. It is something that you show up as all the time. And by the way, if you hear any sounds, I have a little kitty in the background who wants to go outside and play, and he cannot. So he's crying because he wants to go out and play. So I just want to let you guys know that, heads up. I'm trying to keep him quiet, but he will not. So when you say your promise is, I promise to show up as this color every time. And this color means X. Pink means love, vibrancy, um, warmth. It's a strong love color versus a light pink. I'm an extremely loving person. I'm really into my clients. I really go above and beyond. And most of my clients become either long term friends or business partners, collaborations. I just go all in. And so I like to set that up with my brand to show mentally and subconsciously, here's who you're dealing with. Um, so when you building a brand, your color is something you should research. What does it actually mean? Not what does it mean to like, oh, that's a pretty color. No, no, no. Companies choose brand colors with a lot of research and science and going back to the theory of it. So That's the same thing you want to do is look up your colors. If you haven't and you already have your colors, look them up and see what they mean because they mean something. And they mean something not to the how pretty. It means something to explain who you are. Let me give you an example of a brand color that you shouldn't use in a scenario. If you are a CPA and you're very quiet, very demure, very, I'm just kidding, but you're very quiet, and you just get to the point. You're a very no nonsense person. Um, you're not like a cheery, one of those people, which is perfectly fine. I think be who you are. You don't have to change that, but you do want to let people know before they meet you what they're getting ready to, work with or how this is going to flow. And so you want to use, like, if you wanted to use pink, you would either use a darker pink that's like, because dark means subdued. It doesn't mean like, wow, like bright pink is like, yes, let's go and all this, but you don't want to do that. And so if you use bright pink and then you show up and you're speaking and you got this bright pink background, but you're like, thank you, my name is Shauna, this is what I do. It's not matching their subconscious mind. So when it's time to do business at the end of the day, some people won't buy sometimes because they're not understanding you're talking to me with this color and you are talking to people with color, but your personality is not matching what you have on your background. And that is what makes people feel like, can you tell me a little bit more about you? When they keep asking and asking, it's because they haven't bought into the brand yet. Next is messaging. Again, you can't use the same words for everybody. Cheerleaders don't want to hear the same words as football players. Moms don't want to hear the same words as single fashionistas that are 21. um, Men don't always want to hear the same words as women unless they have a similar issue. If they're going to buy a car, men and women buy cars for the same reason, for the different reasons, unless they're a family. So that's a man and woman with a family that brings them together. You see, so you probably think I can help everybody with my product, but everybody can't hear you because remember, we're not making decisions with just our eyes and our front mind. Yeah, that looks good. No, our subconscious is playing into it. And it takes about 7 to 21 times before people make a decision to buy with you, which is why social media is great because it gives people that 21 times to be like, I keep seeing this person, let me call them. Or a friend of yours that forgot that you sold houses will see 21 posts, and when it's time to buy, you've already gotten in their brain. Like their brain is you're rolling in their brain, so they're going to go ahead and pick you. Pictures. Um, Make sure you look similar to your pictures, right? I have a lot of pictures I could have chose today, but I just changed my hair color for my look for probably the next 2 to 3 years. Um, and if you change your hairstyle, which listen, ladies, this is a topic that gets real heated in some classes if I have like access to people. Hairstyle is important if you're a coach, a speaker, an author, anything that the brand is you. Because what you don't want to do is have a picture with this beautiful bright red hair and the style is nice, your makeup is popping, you look amazing, and then you go to speak and you have braids and your hair is black. What happens is they're listening to you, they're hyped, but their brain is still trying to figure out the difference. And I know you don't think so, but it's happening. I recently changed when I changed my hair color. I'm working with these two women and I love working with, listen, I adore these women. I showed up to an event with the new hair style. It was actually before I did this, I did real bright blonde, and that just wasn't the look for me. So I showed up with the blonde hair, and they went like that. They looked at me, and I didn't even get a hug. Normally, I would get a hug or, "Hey, Shauna." They didn't do that because they were too busy trying to figure out what just happened. They were trying to figure out what was different. And so I'm not saying you have to keep the same hairstyle forever. If you do keep the same hairstyle, if it's like a classic, then you're good to go. Kind of, there are people who are iconic because they've kept the same look and vibe forever, which would be like the Jackie O's. Oprah kind of have kept the same look and feel. She's never really dyed her hair. Like these are iconic people. And a lot of people are like, but I like to be stylish and change and do all this stuff. Well, that's great. But is it worth being creative with your hair versus making an impact in the world and making money and changing lives. That's the trade-off that you may want to think about if you're like, but I just like to be free to do what I want. Well, be free to do what you want, but understand there is a science behind the promise. The promise is I'm going to show up like I look in my picture, the same age that I am right now, and the same hair. It doesn't even have to be the same like curl, but if it's a length or a color, this is what you want to do. For personal style, this is another one. If you are the brand, because we are talking about personal style, not we're talking about personal branding, not company branding. Um, your personal style is a clothing choice. And I'm really, really into this more and more right now. Like I've always known about it, and I've always had a personal style subconsciously, which is like classic. I've always been a dress wearer, heels and boots, and I like classic things. And just recently, I started wearing a lot of bold colors, and then I made a decision that there's this look. It's called Rich Girl Era. Actually, is the look vibe, and I love it because that's kind of where I want to go. I want to be more subdued, more in the background, more getting my team out on stage more. I do want to speak. I do want to do bigger deals with corporate. And so, with that being said, I want to appeal to myself in comfort and in style. And when I walk in a room, I just want people to be like, okay, she means business and she means big business. And so this is where I've changed my hair color. I've changed everything to something I like, that's comfortable, and that's impactful. And then again, hairstyle is what we just talked about. Any questions so far, Rodrika, about what I've said from anybody?
No, we don't have any questions right
Okay.
now.
Okay, so exploring AI and branding. Oh, these Canva things should be on there. Crafting your unique identity. AI can help you define your brand. Leveraging social media. We're gonna go through what AI can do for helping you build your social media and captions and things like that. 75% of consumers trust branding influences your success. Um, oh, I'm missing a word there. 90% color impacts first impressions. So that's what that statement is saying is your colors will affect or attract or get the attention of 90% of people. Not 90% of the audience, but that's what attracts people. And how many social media boosts engagement? 50 million people are engaging on social media on a daily basis. So, what is your timeline for personal branding? First, you should define your brand, understand your unique value and message clearly. What is your online presence going to look like? How are you going to talk to people online? Because we just said 50 million people are on there. Create a website and social media accounts effectively, meaning make sure those things work so that people can engage, find you, and also get involved with you, being like you have funnels or newsletters or um, webinars like this where your audience can get involved with things like that. Your website should have different calls to action for people to get involved with your brand. Engage with your audience, interact regularly to build community and trust, which is social media, we know, and also things like this that Rodrika is doing. Evaluate and adjust. This is the part sometimes that we all kind of forget. Once a month, you should look at all your numbers. You should look at how much have I grown on social media? As all the social media platforms give you insight for a reason. So looking at the insight, and what I love about Facebook right now, Facebook is telling you right in your stories box where you are. You have gone up 200% or you have gone down 40%, which basically is saying your engagement and your posting is bringing you down in our algorithm. So if you want to be in our algorithm, you need to do some more stuff. So the algorithms on social media is gauging what they're going to give to your audience based on your engagement, your posting, and also what you're doing, especially conversations that you have with people. Not DMing on from a from a spamming perspective, but when you talk to people in your messaging, that also affects your algorithm. So let's talk about briefly what we're going to do today. We're going to break down an audience strategy. We're going to do some messaging for your social media and website. We're going to uh, do a caption, and we're going to do a social media planning session in ChatGPT. So I'm going to now stop sharing and then share my ChatGPT screen. Let me go back to StreamYard. Okay. ChatGPT. What is it? Let's go down. Okay. Once again, I'm just going there. All right. Let me go back here to you guys and share my screen with ChatGPT. All right. So now, if this is the first, I'm not sure if this the first AI presentation, Rodrigo, or you already had some yesterday, right?
Yeah, so we've been doing them for this is day 3.
Okay, cool. Right. All righty. So first, let's talk about your audience. I say it's good to have 4 to 10 attributes for your audience. And when I say attributes, I mean, what are some of the qualities of your audience? And that is age, um, gender, age, how much people make, because, depending on what you sell, people need to make a certain amount of money to even talk the talk. If you're a high ticket person, you want people to make, if you're selling a coaching program for $25,000 for the year, you want people who make 75 and up, right? But if you're selling candles for $12, then you could say 35. And what type of people buy your candles typically? And if you don't know, you can already think about who's already been buying, right? So for me, I'm going to write my audience for what I've been doing most of my life. Like, who is the audience I love working with, and who are the ones that resonate with me more? And although it's women mostly, but lately it's a lot of men that's been coming to me from referrals or just being in events and stuff. So I'm gonna ask. The first question is, help me create a caption for a social media post talking about oh no, we're going to do website content. Okay, that's what we're going to do. So I always am polite to ChatGPT. Please help me create website content um, for these pages, home, about, um, uh, how to work with us, a blog, contact us. Okay. My audience. Now, granted, my ChatGPT already knows what I do. So if you're new to ChatGPT, you have to tell them what you do. So that I can just ask ChatGPT to give me a 2-page bio, a 2-sentence bio without putting anything in, because I've put so much stuff in. But so understand that's kind of why I'm not putting what I do. My audience are women. That's my first attribute. Um, Between the age of 40 and 65. Now, actually, let me say 35 because it's not that. Okay. Who make, I would say 75K and above, who left corporate America And this is just for my coaching side of business, not my full brand. I'm just going to get some website content for that. Now, granted, I'm getting content just high level. Now, once I download it all, I can go back in and tweak it to personalize it. Understand, we still got to personalize what ChatGPT does. So, who makes 75 and above, who left corporate America to become a coach, well, to live corporate America. They are a coach or consultant. Um, they like to travel and they like fashion. These are the type of ladies I like to work with. Why? They're open, they're experienced, I'm not too much for them. Like I go pretty fast in business. I bring my clients to events. I introduce them to people. I have a speaking engagement with them, like a month of working with me. And I need people who have been experienced to things. So that's kind of why I put that there. Now, that doesn't mean you have to do those things to be a client, but I'm just saying, remember, you're asking for your ideal client. And that's something you want to think about. Now, I put that in. Now, how many attributes is that? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7 attributes. Do you see how easy you can come up with that? Now, once you have those, copy and paste that and put it in Google Drive, in Google Docs, so you always have that audience. And whenever you need something from ChatGPT, you can always preface that. But over time, you won't need to put it in anymore. All right, let me make sure I have everything. Please help me create website content for these pages. I like to put a semicolon to share when the information begins. Okay. All right, let's see what they give us. So what I love about this is ChatGPT already knows you need a call to action. You didn't have to tell. So for people who forget that, um, and maybe it's because of my ChatGPT, but you always want to call to action on your website for things. It could be the same or it could be different things, like download a free thing or download this. So what I love about this is it's already putting it in there. So let's just go through quickly and we're going to build on this, right? So now once you do this one thing, we put that in, we're going to keep building on this information. All right, tailored. Okay, so we get our welcome page. So the sentence that goes in that big picture that you have on the front of your website, they gave it to you. Now, when you get there and you start building, you don't have to use these. You just copy and paste all this and start working it out. But I love the subheadline. You left the boardroom behind. Now let's turn your brilliance into a thriving business. We're here to guide you every step of the way. And if you see how it says where, I would change it to I. But anyway, welcome message, who we serve. I wouldn't put who we serve, right? Because they don't need to know that. How can we help? There we go. Those are the 3 things. Calls to action. Your next chapter starts here. Book a call now. So that's where I would give this to a website designer because they want to know your content. As a website designer, one thing people never have ready is all their pictures and their content. But now with AI, you're ready to go. All right. So we've built all that. Work with us. And so now you have all of your pages. Second thing I said we will do is build some social media content. Okay. Can you give me content? Can you give me captions for LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and a YouTube video? I am doing pictures and posts today. Now, you could either know what you want to be talking about today, or ChatGPT will give you an idea of some things to post that matches your audience and your website and what you're doing in the world so that it always makes sense and it brings them back and it helps you build a brand. So I would normally say what I'm doing, but in this case, I'm going to Ask for just caption for today only. One post per platform. Okay. So LinkedIn, there's your LinkedIn post. So it's taking your audience information and talking to your audience. And it's not to say that no one else could do it. They will. If they like what you're doing, they're gonna come to you. And so they're even telling you what to post as a picture. Love it so much.
Okay, so
Boardrooms,
got
beaches.
a I'm sorry. I got one question that came through that was looking at the method that you were sharing, and they asked, would
Yeah,
this be a great way to create your content calendar?
yes, that's what I'm going to show you next. That
Okay.
was an excellent question. Yep, yep, yep. Okay, so now that we have our Instagram posts, our LinkedIn posts, our Facebook posts, and what did you see how they told you what to post on Instagram? Because ChatGPT already knows the algorithm. They already know what's hot. It has that research built in. So you can even ask for the pictures or what type of video should I do. And you don't have to, you just have to produce. You just got to know your stuff. But ChatGPT can tone it down because if you're like me, sometimes I get in a personal mood where I'll just post a picture of this daggone cat outside. It has nothing to do with them wanting branding. And sometimes I get lost because I'm not in the zone of branding. I'm more in my personal life, which is okay. I have like a 40-40-20 like equation for how much you should post for each one. But anyway, so there's all our posts. And so to that person's question, now I'm going to say this. This is where it gets really amazing to me. Like, what we doing right now? We all can really go crazy on social media and really get to those people and make differences in people's lives, which is why we're here. We're here to make money and make a difference, like most people anyway. Um, some people are selling products, and that's awesome too. All right, so awesome. Sometimes I also tell them they did a good job. Okay, awesome. Now, please help. So with this, you got to be specific now because you have to be a director in what the information you want. So what I'm going to ask for is just Facebook, and then I'll ask for LinkedIn, and then I'll ask for Instagram, and then I'll ask for um, TikTok or whatever else I want next, because otherwise it gets too jumbled. You got this giant thing. So now please help me create a content calendar for the week. I like to do it by the week, not by the month, because it's overwhelming to your brain. So I would say do it by the week. Do your content on Sunday nights or Sundays when not a lot of stuff is going on. Have that stuff ready to go. Even schedule it if you don't have time, because otherwise it won't happen unless you're disciplined. Also, please help me create a content calendar for the week for Facebook. If you want to include certain days for certain things, like you could tell it to add your ideas, like include a day for inspiration and for outfit of the week, um, events to go to. No, I'm not going to do that. Okay, help me create a content calendar for the week for 7 days. One post per day. Okay. Now, here's the piece. Please put in a table format. Okay, that's the key thing, guys. Put in a table format so that it's boxed off for you to look at. You can even say, please put in an Excel spreadsheet so you can download it as an Excel spreadsheet. Like, you listen, this thing knows. All right, let's see what we get.
While we're waiting, the next question is, what is the 40-40-20?
Great question. So, while we're waiting for ChatGPT to figure it out, um, um, So 40% of your content should be personal. Like when I say personal, not your business, your business, but like what you drink, what you like, your shoes, your walk, your family, your like day in the life kind of stuff, like just like entertaining because people really want to know like what you're eating, where you've been. The other 40% is information and education. So that because a lot of people, like if you're a realtor, a lot of people will put out, hey, buy, if you know anybody who's looking to buy, list, and sell, call me. Like you didn't earn that right to ask for anything yet. You cannot ask for things until you've given enough to your audience for them to actually want to give back. A lot of people just put it out there like, hey, buy from me today. And it's like, if I was at a party with you, would you just come up to me and be like, hey, buy my website? You would know, you would get to know them and talk about your personal life. And then if your personal life isn't equal to theirs or if something connects, then you start going further. Then you give them education about the situation. And then they say, you know what, you know a lot. And we both from the same college. Let's do business. That is how the human mind works. And that's how we want to talk on social media. And so 40% you, personal life, fun stuff. Um, Second is the education about what you do, build your credibility. And the third is that call to action, ask for the business. And it doesn't always have to be ask for the business. It could be follow me, subscribe now, come to a webinar. Um, what else? Follow my website or buy from me. I really don't think buying from me direct should ever be there. It should be in a follow-up email or a call. You want to book a call or something like that. Did I answer that question for you? Okay. All right. Oh, they did Facebook. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, I went too far down. Okay, so here is our table. Let's open it up. So here's what we built. For Monday is Motivational Monday, Business Tip Tuesday, Work-Life Balance Wednesday, Throwback Thursday, Fashion Friday, Saturday Inspiration, Sunday Reflection and Gratitude. That helps you decide what you're going to do. And you can actually do all that on a Sunday and be done with it. They give you hashtags that are relevant. You know, we don't use a lot of hashtags anymore, guys. Like we don't do 30 hashtags anymore. That's not what's happening. You want to get 2 to 3, even on Instagram. And as a matter of fact, they're saying on TikTok, no on Instagrams are actually better now. I mean, no hashtags. Okay, so now they're telling you what to do, post a quote or a personal story about overcoming challenges. You see what the mood is. Now, what I want to say to ChatGPT that we did not get. Now you see they've created a calendar, but something's missing. It gave us a theme and a post idea and hashtags, but what it did not give us, what is this? Okay, I don't know what this. Hold on, let's go down and make sure. I've created a content calendar for the week. Themes, post ideas. You can now plan your posts. Let me know if you need anything adjustments. Yes, I do. I need to get out of that. Okay. Yes. Can you resend with captions? So we don't want to think about captions. We could change it up, but so now we're going to get that same table, but with the caption. So all we got to do is add the video and or the picture, which then we're done for the week. And so we want to do this for each platform because each platform, now you don't have to. If you're limited on time, I say go ahead and put the same thing on every social media platform. It's not the best thing to do, but I'd rather you do that than do nothing, right? What's the better one? So you can either have a VA post all these things and get them all set up. You send the content done and done, and now you're rocking and rolling, right? And so let's open it up and see what's happened. I think I'm going past my time, guys. Let me get ready to end this thing. All right. So there goes our captions right there. You see, don't be afraid to fail. Be afraid not to try. Ready to start this week. Go strong. That's motivational. Share a picture or any of those things that they're saying right there. And you don't want to call it Motivational Monday. Just post the quote. Now, here's a tip on ChatGPT that I like to share with people. When you copy and paste from ChatGPT, do not put the emojis and the asterisks and all the things that they put in, just the words. Why? Because people know it's ChatGPT. Not that we don't know that everybody's doing it right now, but it's almost like, let's make it so that it looks natural. Like you do a lace front. We know, okay, but let's not have a big sticker on the front of our head that shows that we have on lace front. Let's blend it in. Let's make it look natural. So same with ChatGPT, and I know that's a funny analogy, but um, you want to take out those emojis. Please do not copy and paste emojis. Add your own at the end or whatever the case may be, but do not put theirs, because we automatically know you copy and paste it and you lose credibility. I hate to say it, but that's the truth. And that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to share with you guys. How to, like, I'm a practical girl. I like to make things so that we can actually use them. Like, there's a lot of information that goes so big, you're like, I don't even know what to do. I just learned so much. I hope that you guys learned. I'm gonna stop sharing. Did I stop sharing? Yes. I hope that you guys learned some practical tips to get started as soon as today. Revamp your website, revamp your social media, really get into your personal brand on a regular basis, be consistent, and honor the promise.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sean. I definitely think that you dropped a lot of gems for people who are on the getting started phase of Chat GPT, or getting started with AI to get their feet wet, because there are a lot of people who were, I felt they were scared to kind of use AI before this event, but I feel that there are more people who are more comfortable with using AI since we're on day 3 and we've shared so many different tips and trends of what's going on. And then there are so many people who are billionaires letting us know now that AI is not going anywhere, and that as a business owner, it's a must that we leverage and implement it into our businesses.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me. I hope I brought value today. And Rodrika, thank you for the opportunity to speak to your audience. And will I be able to see, is this recorded so that we all can see this later?
Uh, yes.
Okay, awesome. I'd love to see all the other speakers. I didn't get a chance to check in.
Okay. Yeah, I can share the link with you so you can see it if you want to hop on, or how you want to do it. But yeah, I'll drop that
Okay.
link.
Okay. All righty. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, guys. So Sean shared some amazing stuff with us on today. So if you're in the process of trying to prepare your website and don't know how to get that information done, that is an amazing way to use ChatGPT. If you're trying to get started with social media, ChatGPT can help you with formulating your content and your ideas, give you some ideas around what you can be posting on social media as well. So I definitely want to give you some more value, and let us transition to our next person, Banish. Summit for us, and we have some AI questions for business owners that will be very imperative for people to know and understand. So welcome, Vanessa.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
So let's just go jump right in. When it comes to the world of AI, we already know that AI is here to stay. And a lot of people think that it's really a fad, but there are so many elements of AI that's taking over in so many different industries. So when it comes to AI, how can small businesses effectively leverage AI so that they can actually enhance their marketing strategies?
Sure. So AI is really a tool that we can all use to make ourselves so much smarter. There's all of this knowledge out there that we now can tap into immediately without going through pages and pages of research. So one of the best ways that I like to leverage AI is for research. we know exactly who our audience is. We know so much about them, but we don't always know exactly what kind of information is most relevant to them.
Mhm.
By using free tools out there, that like Chat GPT, Perplexity, there are so many out there that are free and they cite sources. We can say, so let's say you know your audience, you know something about them. You're now able to say, write on your AI tools what you know, and then ask these tools to give you more information about what their likes are, what their dislikes are, what exactly would work for them, what are their challenges, what kind of value props really resonate to them, so that when you're creating content, you're really hitting the mark. You're not missing it by just thinking what you believe should be the most relevant thing. You are backing it with research. And another thing with why using AI, it's like you never have to start from scratch. You always have you can always start with at least some information that you can build upon. But I
Right.
will say this, where a lot of people might fail over time is if they're just copying and pasting what AI is giving to us, or they're just completely relying on it without using our own knowledge and intuition. Like, go through what it is telling you. AI is still developing and it still has a lot of mistakes. So go through it, make sure it makes sense, challenge it, question it. It's like a friend when you're chatting with it. You can say, "Are you sure?" Cite your sources. How do you know this? Ask it questions to make sure that the information that you take from it is definitely right and relevant to your audience. So that's one of the basic ways that businesses can really start by using AI.
And I love that you mentioned that, especially some practical tools that AI can that you can actually use with AI, because I know you mentioned Perplexity, which is one that I love. I prefer it over Chat GPT, more
Mhm.
so because I have a graduate background, so I'm used to footnotes, and
Yes.
Perplexity provides that. It verifies or lets you know where the source of the information comes from. Whereas with Chat GPT, a lot of people don't realize that at the or pay attention to the bottom of the page of Chat GPT, it tells you that it may not be accurate.
Right.
And then the other thing is Chat GPT does hallucinations. So it will definitely generate or create a scenario that can seem to be real that's not necessarily real. So I'm very glad that you mentioned that, because a lot of people don't realize that, and they do copy and paste without editing or reading through what is being generated by ChatGPT. Are there any other practical tools that you would recommend for small businesses?
Yes, I mean, Claude is one that actually requires a little bit more work.
Mhm.
But it's something that you can use Claude to create almost a tool for yourself and feed into it what you want it to deliver to you regularly, so that you don't have to keep giving the same prompts every day. That is a little bit more, I would say, advanced tool, but it's certainly really valuable. And once you have the basics of different AI tools understood, then you can use something like Claude to really build your own little tool that you can use constantly and really rely on that. You mentioned Perplexity, and even as it cites sources, if you click on the links that it shows, a lot of times the links are not accurate to what it is putting out there. So it's just so important to constantly be checking, constantly be making sure that the information that is being provided to us is accurate. There are also so many other tools that I'm missing the names right now, but that help you generate images, that help you generate videos. You can just create prompts and it will generate whatever you are requesting it to create. However, it is not where, it's 100%. So we definitely need to be tweaking it. We definitely need to use it as a baseline. It's
Mhm.
not our final product. It's where we begin our research or begin our work.
Correct. And I totally agree with you 100% because a lot of people think AI is supposed to replace people, but AI
Right.
is more so that it can enhance what is being done and so that you can be more productive. And it kind of takes out some of those basic things out of the way so that you can spend less time on things. And I think that's the misconception of what AI is supposed to be used for. And with that being said, are there some key considerations for integrating AI into business when you're making decision-making processes?
Definitely. So at this point, all the tools that we are using are incorporating AI in some way, whether it is Excel, whether it is our email platforms, whether it is, Google Analytics, they all have some aspect of an AI layer to it. And understanding what it is doing, understanding exactly what we want from it is really important for us to be able to move forward. I've worked with a few people who look at these AI tools in their tried and true, platforms, and they kind of get scared and they're like, well, I'm not going to touch that because I don't know what it does. I've been using this platform for 10 years and it's been working fine, so I don't need to use the AI aspect of it. Or on the other hand, they just completely rely on it and they're like, oh, look, I don't have to do the hard work. This AI tool is going to pull all the information. And it, we should be trying it. We need to be using it, whether it is with Excel or whether it is with analytics or your email platforms or even with websites, like wherever you see AI as an option, check it out, try it, do your research, see what it is spitting out at you, and then check to see if it makes sense. Are these numbers making sense? And even all the tools that are being put out there, people like you and me are building it, and everyone is learning about AI together. There might be some
Right.
people who are, calling themselves pros, but that just means that they've been using it a little longer. We're still relying on artificial intelligence and we are still relying on, something else. Like it's almost like relying on someone else who is claiming to be perfect. And it is just so important for us to make sure, like, is this right? Is this data making sense? All of that good stuff.
So people who are wanting to get started with AI, what would you recommend?
I would recommend, focus on doing some research. What you are already doing, get AI to do it just a little bit more and see what you think about the stuff that it's giving back to you. If it is, let's say you're writing emails regularly, create a template and put it into your AI tool and get it to create more versions of it. So you don't have to keep doing that constantly. If you're creating ad copy, create a template of what you would like something what you would like to be generated and get it to create like 50, let's say, for different audiences, right? Like you can say, I want 5 ads about this product, about my value proposition, about something that I'm great at, but tailor it to different demographics, tailor it to people with different level of experiences or different needs. Let's say you have a retail organization, right? You can now use AI to create multiple different pieces of content that are tailored to all the different items that you're putting out there. So I would just say use it to scale what you have been doing by hand, but make sure that, again, it is accurate.
Okay, awesome. We want to thank Phoenicia for sharing her input for today on the different aspects of AI, how to use AI, and everything that you can do to prep yourself for AI. We're going to transition to our next speaker for today, Attorney Morgan. I'm super excited to have him on today so that we can discuss different ethical and compliances and things around AI that business owners should know. Welcome, Attorney Morgan.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and you can call me Heath, by the way. um, yeah, so I apologize. I was trying to get on my computer in my hotel room here, and the computer, my camera access wasn't being giving me access to it. So I'm here by my phone. So thanks for your patience with it. But
Oh,
I'm
no,
excited to
it's
be here today.
fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
So,
excited to be here today. And excited to kind of really, yeah, talk about, I've caught some of the sessions and stuff, and about the content, about how to use this for the business, and want to talk about how we can use it responsibly, ethically, for whatever type of business you're in. And what I find is that I think a lot of people hear about AI, they hear these amazing stories or terrifying stories, and they're either like, this is awesome, this is going to change my life, save my business, or they're like, rapture, take me now, I'm all out. And if you think about it, both of those responses are escapist responses, because we don't understand, we're overwhelmed by the information coming out each day about AI technology. And really, what we need more of in our society is business leaders who can bring clarity and understanding to AI technology, and understand how it's going to apply and shift and alter the way we work, the way we run a business, the way we interact with our families. It covers all grounds. And what I have found as a way to bring that clarity is to kind of categorize the types of AI technology that's being used, and also look at AI from three different lenses. And I'll go into each topic here, but essentially, what I would say first is, if we're looking at categorizing AI technology, there's four categories. There's the machine learning and data collection part of it, where we're taking information in from some source and analyzing it and using data in a way to create outputs, to drive workflow, to drive decision making. That would fall under the machine learning category. And the caveat with this, of the four categories here, are that two of the four may or may not be AI. And that's important because, as regulations come up that try to ban certain types of AI use, it's really clear to know if you're actually using AI technology, true AI, or using more of a rules-based systemic type of technology. And so machine learning can be part of that. It can be AI, it can be generative, or it may be just rules-based, taking data, splitting it up. If customer goes to my website and pays, they go into this category. If they log off without paying, they go into this category. It could just be a matter of sorting data, right? The next category of AI technology is generative AI, and that is what you heard just now. It's taking it's AI, looking at large databases, large language models, and generating content either through text, images, video nowadays, but generating new content from prompts that you're giving it, and using a certain set of data or data set. The third category is conversational AI. That is where AI has built a language database and is actually conversing with humans, with other AI agents, making phone calls, inbound phone calls, taking inbound phone calls, making outbound phone calls. It's really speaking with an agent, chatting conversationally with an agent. And sometimes that can be through audible form, or it could be text chatbots on your website, something like that. The fourth category is robotic process automation. And again, this is the other category that may or may not be actual AI, because you can use strictly rules-based automation where it's a if this then that type of setting, or it could be generative. It could be create for me new things or new processes through automation. And so I think it helps bring clarity to kind of categorize to AI, this broad term of AI, into four categories. And then the other aspect of it, the three lenses I mentioned, it is another way to kind of bring clarity to this broad topic. And the three lenses I look at AI technology are, the first one is internal use or vendor use. So how are you and your company going to use AI technology? How are vendors that work for you or provide you services or products, how are they using AI? And ultimately, even if it's a vendor, you as a business owner are kind of responsible to know what that process is, how they're using that technology, to make sure it doesn't, fly outside of any guardrails, right? The second lens to look at AI is, what are the current or potential regulations on this type of technology, this type of use? And right now, I think there's over 100 state AI bills that have been passed in different aspects. I think it's about 200 actually, last I checked, and covering a wide range from medical to child pornography, deep fakes, lots of different broad scale topics. But you especially want to pay attention to how states are regulating AI in your line of business, and how that looks. Because what you don't want to do, why a lot of AI technology is either free right now or promising, a monthly subscription, right? You don't want to, for some of the enterprise uses, we're seeing vendors market AI use cases and technology at $5, $10, $20, $50,000 for a certain type of AI automation, AI programming. And you don't want to spend that kind of money in a technology that will be deemed to be illegal in 2 years, 5 years. So you want to find what are safe use cases or a safe sandbox to kind of play in as you explore AI technology, and safe use cases that won't be regulated in the future. And then the last lens that you want to look at AI technology is your customers. How are your customers going to use AI to interact with your business? And I say that because you may think, hey, this AI is not for us. It's too risky for certain reasons. We're not going to utilize this. We don't need an AI policy, right? But if you are going to have customers using AI, using agents to interact with your humans or your agents, you're going to need to understand how they will use AI to interact with your company. And as I mentioned, the most common thing will be once we have this world of consumer chatbots, customer chatbots. And I've been saying this for about 2 years, that I've been talking about AI, that the chatbots are coming, and really all we need is a easy mechanism, right? The technology behind ChatGPT has been around for about 5 years before ChatGPT came out. But what was different, and what made ChatGPT catch wildfire and explode to 100 million users in 2 months, was the fact that it was easy to use. You could use it on your phone. You could use it on your computer with just a login and password, essentially. It's basically a cell phone number to sign up. And what we're missing, there are companies right now that make chatbots. There are people with moderate to experienced use of technology that have created chatbots for certain functions. Last spring, I should say, this past spring, there was an article that came out about a man in Russia who created a chatbot to interact with on Tinder and chatted with 5,000 different women on Tinder to find a date, and eventually narrowed these women down and proposed to a woman, and she said yes, and they're getting married based on a chatbot, right? That's a scary story. It sounds, well, I could never have the time to build a chatbot to do that. Well, all that's missing is really a vehicle like the ChatGPT form to have that happen in everyday life. And I really think it's going to happen on the iPhone with the app. So Apple and OpenAI have a partnership. They merged together to share data and incorporate ChatGPT into the iPhone. And do you know how much that deal was worth and how much it cost OpenAI? Nothing, $0. They did it because ChatGPT is going to take the information from consumers' phones who opt to use it and use it to train their AI. Well, that's a scary thought about data collection, but what it means practically is that with the next iOS update, it's 18, I think it's 18.3, where consumers, your customers, will be able to say, hey, Siri, read this email from this retail store or from my bank or from credit union or whatever, and negotiate my account, or call them on my behalf and ask for a discount, or tell them my dress was damaged, whatever customer service issues they're going to have. And they're going to start launching consumer-based chatbots that have that knowledge of those emails, of that email chain, to begin, making phone calls or interacting on your website to, try to reach a resolution to whatever issue they are seeing. Set up appointments, whatever that looks like. And so again, if you are saying, hey, we're not going to use AI, we're a landscaping company, it's not going to work for us, be prepared that you're going to have customers that are going to be contacting you through their chatbots and scheduling appointments. And you can't just say, we'll adapt to it. You've got to think about, what does that mean? How do we verify if someone's scheduling a landscaping appointment, how do we verify that's the actual customer, that we're not just sending trucks out? It's not just someone spamming our system and scheduling appointments, and we're seeing our trucks out everywhere across town and no one scheduled these appointments. So you're going to want to have some sort of authentication process to be able to do that. So that's kind of the framework of looking at AI technology through the three lenses of, how are we going to use it? How is it going to be regulated in the future? What are the tea leaves saying about that? And then how are our customers going to use it? So
also, we have a lot of questions that rolled in from
already. Okay, yeah, let's dive in. Yeah.
Okay, so
that's my initial spiel there. Yeah.
Yeah, so the first one was like, first question that I see that popped up was, where do business owners find the state requirements for AI?
That's a good question. So there are some organizations out there. The one I look at is called, I think it's NLCS, that actually, there are state or government organizations that list out AI legislation, and I could pull it up and have it for you by the end of the session here. But I think if you just Google NSLC state AI regulations, it should pop up a chart that would have a list of all the regulations out there. And then, of course, within different industries, if you're in financial services, if you're in healthcare, you can find the 200 bills that have been passed categorized by certain verticals and certain industries.
Okay. And the next one was, you mentioned AI policy, so a lot of questions came up around that. So I guess to put all of these questions together around AI policy, basically what should be included on the in the policy, and should this policy be on your website?
That's a great question. Yes, I think the answer to all that is yes, but let me dive into that. I would say, without an AI policy, the biggest reason to have an AI policy is because, if you don't have an AI policy, you probably have employees using AI without your knowledge or awareness. And, if you are dealing with sensitive data, proprietary data, consumer protected data, protected by HIPAA, protected by the GLBA, financial service, credit card information, you have certain consumer protections that you need to be mindful of. And anything that you are using with the current models out there. Now, I'll preface year two. We'll just call this year one for now. But with all, ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, all these LLMs, anything you're giving it, you're losing control to have what happens to that data, and that happens to all of the vendors that we use. So again, when I talk about vendor use, I'm talking about programs that we use on an everyday basis on Zoom, Adobe, Microsoft, Copilot. All of these companies have updated their policies in the last year that if you don't opt out, it's going to take your data and use it to train AI. So your Zoom phone calls could be used to train AI. Your Adobe documents could do that if you update that. So it's covering, what vendors you're using, what software programs you're using, and understanding how you're using it right now. How are your employees using it? It may be fine for you to let your employees use ChatGPT or other forms of AI in certain ways, but you want to have guidelines on what they can't share and what they can't use in terms of, the last session, you talk, there's a lot of conversation about hallucinations, and really wrong information is a feature, not a bug. So we're going to take any output of that AI as a first draft, and we're going to review it and make sure that it's accurate, especially if we're putting it out to the customers or to our public. So I would say definitely kind of scope out how you're using it. I think it's a good idea to go ahead and have the 4 categories of AI, the machine learning, the generative, conversational, and RPA, and just talk about, does this apply to us or not? So you're aware of what happens to that. And, obviously, so a default AI policy would say that no employee can use AI without permission of ownership or the managers. And then you can kind of carve out and talk about use cases of how they would want to use it. So, and honestly, I mean, the real cheat thing is you could use ChatGPT to create a AI policy, and you just put parameters and say, write me a policy for a landscaping business or a marketing company that incorporates AI, talk about machine learning, talk about generative AI, talk about conversational AI, talk about automation, and, have the base policy being restrictions on use of it unless it's approved and gone through an AI risk assessment. That's a good idea to have, especially if you're dealing with consumer protected data, data from your customers that is protected, a credit card or protected HIPAA information. It's a good idea to do a risk assessment of the vendor to see, if you're sharing information with this software, are you able to get it back? Are you able to delete it? Is there unauthorized disclosure that's out there? So I would say that you'd want to have that. And then depending on the size of your company, you also might want to have an AI committee of 2 to 5 employees within your company that can kind of brainstorm and think about what use cases we can use. And I think management is good, but I also recommend having some of your younger employees be on this committee who are exposed to this, and that's going to be even more true each year that we go on. And I was talking today, I'm actually at a conference. I was speaking on AI this morning. It's my deal here. But we were talking about someone who had a daughter who was in high school, a freshman in high school, and I told them that by the time they graduate, our education system is going to fundamentally change because ChatGPT is like a TI-85 calculator. So by the time this freshman graduates high school in 3 years, her school will have its own LLM GPT system where each student is going to have its own LLM account. and the teachers have oversight and access to it. There are schools that already have this right now. They haven't implemented it full time yet, but it's already out there. But I say all that because, you know, her senior year, she will be given an essay on the Civil War. She won't be graded on the final 10-page essay of the Civil War. She will be graded on the prompts that she's giving, putting into the system, what she's getting back, how she's challenging it, how she's testing it, and how she's putting it together. That's the only way you're going to be able to ever address AI cheating and ChatGPT cheating, is to teach around that. And so we will be teaching effectively by doing that process. We're teaching our kids how to natural language program. Those kids will be leaving high school, entering your companies. They're going to have a lot more native mindset of this technology. So you want to kind of take advantage of that in your AI committees.
And I think I love the fact that you said that. I think that them actually implementing AI in the school systems is a great thing, on one side of it, because how they changed the curriculum for schools in the past has basically took away critical thinking. But now
Yes.
the implementation of AI is going to force them back into critical thinking, because you have
Yes.
to be very critical on how you're prompting AI. So I think that's going to actually push the next generation to be more of a thinker generation than anything else.
A lot more natural language engineering, right? Because
Mhm.
content becomes commoditized. And
Right.
so it's really being able to see how you get to the steps to create that content that's really important. Yeah, that's a great point.
Oh, let me go back to these questions quick.
And as you're looking for your next question, I'll just tack on. So I mentioned all this because this is, you know, year one, year two of a 10-year process of
Mhm.
GPTs. You know, this is back when Yahoo, the search engines were, you would go to the Yahoo, and if you wanted to find, you know, a shopping store, you would scroll down the page through news links, you know, sports links, weather links, and you'd find shopping links. And you click on that, and you go through, and it gives you no list of all the stores there. This is before Google, you know, had you type in what you're searching for. So we're still early on, and the next version of GPTs are going to be enterprise GPTs. So within your company, you're going to be able to put all of your policies, your procedures, your, you know, scripts, whatever that is, into its own database, and then get outputs based off of that. And if you have a walled off database that's just you localized on your computer, you may not have some of that data security, data privacy concerns. So
Mhm.
that really only applies to vendors that are offering that for free, but taking your data and training it. But if you're able to localize your data, and, you know, one of the common examples I say are, you know, you take all your IT policies and procedures, you put them into a chat bot, and then that way, when your employees, their computer freezes up, you know, the chat bot can say, turn off your computer and turn it back on, or, you know, whatever the IT troubleshooting is. With
Right.
HR, you can take all of your HR policies, put them into a chat bot, and then they can ask the chat bot, when do I get PTO, or when do I get this, versus having to ask your HR people the same questions over and over again.
Yes, and because I know, like, what I've been doing is using AI to help me keep my company SOPs up to date, which has been
Yeah.
amazing for us. But the next one was, someone mentioned, I think they got scared when you said the connection with Apple and
Oh,
and
iOS. Yeah. Yeah. It's can be
they was
scary. Yep.
the question was, would that impact safety measures of getting hacked and allowing people to access personal accounts with Apple connecting that with OpenAI?
It's a very real concern. I mean, I will tell you that OpenAI says, you know, we've got secure servers, you know, all the data we're collecting, it's been secure. But, you know, how OpenAI has built its database so far is they've scraped the internet and just put everything in there. You know, some call it black box algorithms, some call it copyright infringement, you know, potato, right? Um, but it's a different thing altogether to build your database off of published content versus personalized content on a phone. And the same thing with Zoom. Zoom that can take your Zoom calls and use a train AI if you don't opt out. I mean, they're getting closer and closer to playing with that technology. But the reality is, and the hope is that they have the security in place to make sure there's no hacking. But the best analogy I would say is, like look at our cars, right? Most cars, if not all cars, have monitoring systems in them. I'm not paranoid. This isn't a conspiracy theory. There was a Mozilla article last year talking about how cars have the worst data privacy policies out there because most of them record those conversations and use them for advertising, marketing. Nissan and Kia got in trouble because they were taking phone car conversations and categorizing them into sexual activity. So it got in the creepiest category. But who knows why a car company needs to know that information? But it's already happening, and so yes, it is scary because it's now we're incorporating into AI, but a lot of it's happening already. And certainly if you are concerned about that, you can opt out of the Apple Intelligence. You don't have to opt out of Siri. You can not download the latest iOS 18.3 when it comes out. But really, a lot of people are just going along with it, and just like we have been for the last 10, 20 years on this technology and data collection.
Yeah. And the next question was, when it comes to AI policy, should there be both internal and internal and external policy?
Yes, great point. And that goes back to the first question, right? Because we talked about the internal policy, and then what needs to be an external policy on your website, what you're disclosing to the consumer. And that is where it's not just the state AI laws that are in play, but it's also the state data privacy laws. California has a pretty strong one. I'm out of Colorado, Denver. We've got a pretty strong policy. And California requires you to identify if you want to have cookies that track your behavior. Colorado. So it depends on what technology you're using. But if you are going to use technology on your website that's going to track a customer journey, maybe follow them when they log off your website and go to somewhere else, that's another cookie. Whatever you're doing, if you're going to do biometric scanning, and that's a popular one where you're tracking the your customer's eyes to see where they're stopping on the page, what's important to them, that needs to be disclosed. So there's different practices that need to be disclosed. So it probably needs to go into a general privacy policy on your website. So I would say more than an AI policy on your website, you would need to have a privacy policy that covers how you're going to do that. And then, whether you want to incorporate that data and use it to train your AI or, to monetize that in some way, you probably should have some sort of disclosure on there. It's not that customers are going to opt out. I mean, like I said, we have cars listening to us. We have all kinds of apps on our phone tracking our geolocation all the time. Most people just accept it, but it is important to disclose that if you are using that technology, especially in certain states with the privacy laws about what you need to do.
Okay, so basically, if you already have a private policy on your website, you should update it with the AI section.
Yeah, I think having a section there if you're using data to train AI or to use it in other ways to bring them recommendations, that kind of stuff. Just kind of, and that's really kind of and really, if you want to be compliant with all 50 states, you could just follow California's law. Now, California's law applies to if you have 50,000 customers or more in California. But what you can do is you can just go to a company that has that, click on their privacy policy, see what needs to be disclosed, and maybe just kind of copy that and paste it into your policies. this is an attorney telling, this is not legal advice, I should say, but if you wanted to, have a basic format, you could copy and paste, from other people that have already built this out.
Okay. I think
Or
that's
contact
all.
your attorney, I should qualify, right?
I think that's all the questions right now. But yeah, I definitely think that when it comes to AI, we have to be careful because even with Zoom now, they have AI companion that we were just
Yep, that
recording,
just
but
sits in
now
the chat box in the chat room with you and just listens and takes notes. Yep, all of
they,
that. Yep.
yeah, so we
Yeah.
definitely have to be
And
careful.
so part of that is, if you are and so what we've seen on the conversational AI aspect of it is, like with Zoom, if you're going to have your AI note taker on the call, usually it gives the other person the option to click OK to that and consent to that recording. But if it doesn't, you want to make sure the other side, especially if it's a customer, is okay with that conversation. And
Did we lose them?
sorry about that. A phone call came through. I was trying to get rid of it. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
That's the advantages of technology and doing this on my phone. The phone call just cuts me off here. No, what I was saying is, and a good example in like why you want to pay attention to regulations is, so this January, so I work in a lot in healthcare and financial services.
Okay.
We already have AI vendors that are marketing to these industries, chatbots, conversational AI chatbots that call patients about different items, call customers about follow-up. And these vendors were, basically telling clients and customers, business to business customers, that you don't need the TCPA consent, which is the Telephone Consumer Protection Act, because it's AI. And I would hear that and go, that doesn't make any sense. It's a pre-recorded call. It's transcribed. It definitely qualifies under the TCPA. So I was telling my customers, my clients, to use it for inbound calls, but not for outbound calls unless you have that consent already. And what happened in January is there actually was a Democratic primary, despite what you hear in the news, and there was a fringe candidate named Doug Phillips, who was running against Joe Biden. And he paid a guy $150 to create an AI voice of Joe Biden to make calls to New Hampshire and tell them not to vote, not to show up at the polls, trying to kind of gain, voting there. It was very effective, obviously, but that happened in mid-January. By February 8th, the FCC, who regulates the TCPA and who guides the automated calls that are going onto your phones and text messages, they put out a final rule saying that you can't make AI initiated calls without consent in less than 3 weeks. I mean, that's record time for the federal government. But that just shows you the level of sensitivity of regulations if you have harmful outcomes and harmful harmful outputs of AI generation. And to add to that real quickly, I would say that if you look at the state AI laws, most of them have passed laws about deep fakes, about having an AI voice of a celebrity or an endorsement that's not actually true. Those are some of the earliest AI laws that have been passed across the state. So when you look at your marketing campaigns, you want to make sure that you're staying truthful and ethical in your representations. Now, it's totally fine if you know a celebrity and they do one endorsement and they authorize you to create a AI chatbot of them to make more calls or customize messages. That's happening in India and other countries. where a celebrity is licensing their image and likeness to be used for AI to make personalized marketing content. If they're okay with it, that's great. But if you're doing it on your own, obviously, we're seeing a lot of laws passed against that deep fake. And they're focused on marketing, they're focused on political content as well. Obviously, the ability to kind of manipulate and put people in compromising positions.
Oh wow. So and that makes me think about the platform 11 Labs where they do voice
Yes.
cloning.
Yes.
So platforms like that, we're there, they have voices like Snoop Dogg and everybody else
Yep.
who you can just type a script on there and use their voice for promotion. So that's kind of
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in theory, they have it available, so you can kind of just play around with it. But yeah, certainly people without ethical concerns could take that. I mean, in reality, I think 11 Labs, like I think all they need is like a minute or two, like a conversation, or someone talking to be able to take that voice and put that into the chatbot voice. So it's very real that it could be, unauthorized endorsements could be a thing of the future very quickly.
wow. And then also I know with what you mentioned previously about outgoing messaging without consent of using AI, because I know a lot of people are doing automation, sending out like text messages and voice drops and things of that nature. So when people opt in on their do like submit a form for opt in, should you have something there saying that some of it
Yes.
may be a formulated from AI?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great way to do it. And the best way to do it is on your website. If a customer logs into your website, orders a product, orders a service, put it in that terms and conditions that I consent to receive messages that may be pre-recorded, that may come from or maybe generated by AI, maybe to receive these on my cell phone, because the TCPA covers cell phone. Now, if you're emailing them, there's less restrictions of that. You still need consent to market emails, but it really applies to the cell phone and making phone calls or leaving messages or text messages to them. That's where the TCPA comes into play.
Okay, because I know like with when we got our numbers for my company, I remember we had to go through the A2P process to get it approved to send out those messages. So that's why I was wondering. I remember we didn't have to put anything in the policy section for it. So I'm wondering if we should go back and update that.
Yeah, yeah, you should. Yeah, because the registration for the short code or for the 10DLC number to make outbound messages is a different process than how you're getting consent to do that through an automated process that the TCPA requires that.
Okay, that's good to know. And I think that's
And
all.
unfortunately, there are a lot of not aspiring, but entrepreneurial attorneys who
Mhm.
solicit TCPA lawsuits from people who've received messages. So it is we do see TCPA attorneys trying to sue businesses for multiple messages without consent or not honoring opt out, stop, if you're sending those messages. So you want to make sure you're doing that. And I think to your earlier point, you absolutely want to have a AI consent or AI generated messages in that language of I agree and consent to receiving these messages.
So there are a lot of cases that are being had over sending messages via AI.
Not quite yet, but this is all under TCPA legislation in general, and there's
Okay.
a long history of outbound calls that are unwanted for solicitations that people are suing from. Unfortunately, and you may not be surprised by this, but one of the biggest offenders are political campaigns, and somehow the legislature has found in their wisdom to exempt political campaigns from the TCPA. What a shocker. But businesses have to comply, governments do not have to. So they can text you as much as you want, but businesses have to follow the rule. It's shocking, isn't it?
Yeah, that can be the common ground most of the time when it comes
Yeah,
to
the government
a lot.
exemptions, right? Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, thank you so much. I don't see any more questions in the chat, but if
Okay.
there's anything else you would like to share, please feel free.
Yeah. I'll kind of give a little wrap up and summary kind of, and really what it's about is it's about a mindset of how we're going to adopt this, because it's not really a if we adopt AI, it's a matter of when. And, or maybe better said, it's you can either adopt AI technology intentionally or
Mhm.
unintentionally. And unintentionally being your employees or your vendors using and updating their systems to include AI without your knowledge or oversight of it. So, really being able to have an intentional approach to it is obviously ideal.
Okay.
And I think, making sure that, you are the one as a business owner that's bringing clarity and understanding and sound decision making to AI technology would be good, because you're going to have, the second you mention AI and your employees may be thinking AI is coming from my job. AI is coming from my job. That's one of the big headlines that scare people about AI, and it's really not going to be the case. Now, don't mistake it. You will save a lot of hours in the week on efficiency, and probably a lot of hours at the end of the year, thousands of hours at the end of the year in efficiency. But really, the best way to think about AI is either an excited intern or a digital assistant. So it's an excited intern that wants to perform for you and wants to bring you a product, but it's still your job to kind of review the output before it goes out to any kind of public facing aspects of it. And then as a digital assistant, in the future, if we're looking 10 years ahead from now, your human employees and AI are going to be co-workers together, where AI is doing the boring, mundane, repetitive tasks, and
Mhm.
you're actually upskilling your employees to have more critical thinking, and taking the outputs from one AI system, putting them into another AI system, taking those outputs. You're actually upskilling your employees. And then the last thing I'd say about, AI is coming from your job is, the reality is almost everywhere in the United States, it's hard to hire. I mean, I was at a session this morning at this conference for half an hour, talked about staffing issues across the country, right? It's hard to hire, and it's not going away, because the largest generation that we have, from the baby boomers to Gen Alpha, the largest generation is that are baby boomers, and they're aging out. So over the next 10 years, you're having millions of people aging out of the workforce. And there is no generation the size of the baby boomers coming to replace them. So what's scarce now for hiring is going to be even more scarce in the future. So you're going to need to adapt automation, AI technology, to be able to keep your performance at much less growth. So you're going to need that. And so if you can communicate that to your employees and bring that clarity, bring that understanding, you can get them to be, invited in on the journey of this, versus kind of being scared and not wanting to share what they do every day because they don't want AI to take their job. So I think that's a key factor, as well as you're looking to, how do we adopt this technology, is making sure you have your employee buy-in, that they won't be replaced, the mundane tasks will be replaced, or and people that will, the cliched saying is, AI won't take your job, but someone who knows about AI and can do AI will take your job, right? So that should encourage everyone to at least be able to lean into this a little bit and learn about the use cases for how we can benefit from this as a company, how we can be more efficient, how we can be more profitable. There's all kinds of use cases for that. So
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us on today. And you shared a lot of information, especially a lot for me. And it makes me I'm like, next team meeting or next week, we need
Yeah,
to be
right.
talking to
AI
this.
policies. Let's talk about that. Let's powwow and talk. Yep, yep, yep.
Yeah,
And
we're definitely going to
and
be covering some of this.
don't start that meeting with show of hands. How many have used ChatGPT for work? Because you're not going to want to see the answer. It may your jaw may drop, right?
Well, I could honestly say I know everyone on my team uses AI. I
But have you
definitely know.
have you helped give them the safe guardrails of how to use it, and what information to give, right? There is the and Toshiba, the big technology company, they got in trouble early on with OpenAI because a couple of their engineers uploaded one of their product manuals to ChatGPT. They lost that information forever, right? It's out and now it's training AI. So again, it's teaching that responsible use of, yes, we can, we'll let you write this content, but we need you to redact certain parts of it, or this type of content can't be put in there because we don't want to lose that as proprietary information.
Well, I like our services and like the flow of what we do for customer journey, those things can't go up there, but
Yeah.
they generally more so use AI to develop more stuff around our target market
Hmm.
and who we're selling to, but not really our products and services.
That's good. That's good.
So
Yeah.
I did not know that they uploaded the whole
Oh,
manual.
Toshiba did. Yeah. Yeah. That was a big, unfortunately, a lot of the stories we tell about what not to do come from companies that have already done it, right? And like, the consumer chatbot story, there was the Air Canada, the Canadian Airlines. They had a chatbot, a generative AI chatbot, not a rules-based chatbot, taking inbound calls. And they found out over the course of a week or so, it generated the idea that we'll just give you free refunds, even though that wasn't in their policy. And the court held they had to honor what their outputs that were saying. So you want to make sure, obviously you're testing if it is a generative AI output, that's going to be customer facing, that you're able to test that and make sure it's giving accurate information.
Yeah, and then I saw, I don't know if it was someone shared an article with me um last week, and I was like, "Oh my God, really?" And it was about an attorney. I don't know if it was him or his paralegal used AI to find for research to find previous court cases, and he presented the court case, and it was not
Oh,
a true court case.
no, yeah, there was two attorneys in New York who did that, who offered these cases up in an airlines case. They were completely made up. The judges couldn't find them, and they actually got sanctioned by the court for doing that. And in the legal community, that's been shared widespread, and courts have kind of overreacted to that. And now there's some courts that are banning chat GPT or AI usage, which again, I think is a little bit too broad, because if I'm an attorney and I do all litigation, I mean, and I say this as a hypothetical because I don't do any litigation. I just do business advisement and consulting. But let's say I had a litigation practice. I could take all of my briefs and put it into an LLM system and have it create a new brief. Now, why wouldn't that? Now, I understand not letting ChatGPT write a brief for you because you don't know where it's coming from. But if I'm
Mhm.
controlling all of the input, why shouldn't I be able to submit that brief in court that's coming from my own writing, right?
Right.
The same thing with copyright, right? Right now we're very early on to copyright this content creation, and the Copyright Office has come out and said, you can't get copyright for Chat GPT outputs, right? That makes sense. But
Mhm.
if I'm creating all, if I'm writing, a book or a short story or whatever, and I'm putting all of the content in and I'm controlling the software and the outputs of it, why shouldn't I get copyright for that? I think we will. I think the Copyright Office will adapt and we'll get to that. But right now, it's just basing this off of the Chat GPT cases. And it's crazy. If you look at if you're a reader, if you look at the Amazon Kindle ebook store,
Mhm.
there's thousands of books that have been written by ChatGPT, and they're all free because you can't get copyright protection on them, so you can't charge anything for them. But just the amazing content volume of content. I doubt the quality of the content, but the volume of the content is there in terms of how much and how easy it is to create content if you're not worried about getting that copyright and selling that and being able to sell and license that content that you're producing.
And then I know at one time Amazon was actually taking down some of those books that were created
Well,
by
there was a big issue on plant foraging, where ChatGPT was creating these plant foraging books that were actually giving, shocker, wrong advice and telling people to eat plants that saying they weren't harmful, that were harmful. And Amazon had to scramble to look at all these foraging books and pull them off because the chat GPT output was giving harmful advice to humans, making them sick if they had actually followed that advice.
Oh wow. Yeah, I was like, people and there are a lot of people who are actually going around selling courses and things, teaching people how to make books and put them on Amazon using
Oh,
ChatGPT.
I know.
So
You'll get rich quick, right?
yeah.
It's
Oh gosh. Well, thank you again
so
for your time.
do we have a couple more minutes real quickly? Because
Yeah,
I'll share a story about that real quickly if we do.
yeah, we just
So speaking of books, so one of my interests in this AI technology is I've written a science fiction book about AI and about the future of this technology, right? And I wrote it all with hand. I didn't write any chat GPT. I wanted, if nothing else in my mind, and I'm always a hero in my mind, even though no one else cares, right? But if nothing else, I wanted to write the last book by human writing and human hands before AI just sucks up and before Microsoft Outlook or Microsoft Word updates and incorporates AI. I wanted to get one last human book written before it all becomes AI mush. And so it's coming out in January. But what I found in my research about this is that there's a lot of parallels with AI technology and social media.
Mhm.
And the last 20 years, I think we can all agree that we haven't handled social media well, right? We've taken a technology that's supposed to be a tool for humans, and we have now become the algorithmic raw material for them to sell ads. So they keep us online, they manipulate our emotions, they manipulate our insecurities, they get us angry because they know if you're angry, you're going to stay on longer and self-soothe and read more ads and make them more money.
Mhm.
And so I actually have coined the term in the book, the social media latchkey kid generation. I'm not sure if you have heard of the latchkey kids in the 70s where their parents both worked, they had a latchkey, they would come home, they were raised by the neighborhood versus their parents.
Right.
And a social media latchkey kid generation is you could tell your kids 100 times a day, I love you, you're worthy, and they go online for an hour and they're going to see all kinds of messages that are manipulating their insecurities and telling them other things. And when we see the declining in mental health rates over the last 20 years, especially as not just social media, but giving kids a phone at an early age, we've seen this really mental health crisis amongst kids. And my hope in writing the book, my hope in what I do when I speak is really to try to prevent a generative AI latchkey kid generation where now we've moved on from social media and now we're letting generative AI raise our kids versus parents and families and communities. And so the book it's a young adult science fiction book, but it's really trying to kind of ideate out, if we go to some of these extremes, what does that look like? What does it mean to be a human with things? And, when we augment our minds, we put a memory chip in our minds to address paralysis, Alzheimer's, trauma. Well, but what if I want an intelligence upgrade? And now kids are walking around with 160 IQs. What does that mean? And again, we're giving data away, and I don't want to scare anybody, but like, Colorado and California this last year passed a neuro rights bill. So neuro rights, so perfect example, I'm wearing a Fitbit here. This Fitbit takes EKG data and EMG data from my brain. There's a reason that Google bought Fitbit. It's trying to map the human brain to learn about this.
And
And
Apple updated that in
yes,
the Ultra 2. So it does the EKGs, it does the oxygen levels, it does
yes,
the brain, and then it also does like fall detection. So it's
yeah,
literally scanning
yes,
your movement throughout the day.
yes, yeah. And the reason why it's all part of neurotechnology is because, and the reason Colorado and California passed these laws is what they found is this data is not part of HIPAA, so it's not protected. They don't have to not disclose it and take precautions with it. They can take this data and exploit it. So we're seeing a trend of neuro rights, but that's just the next round of AI information. And then the other oh crap, this is happening now.
Okay, I think we lost Attorney Morgan. Let's see if he's going to be able to hop back on. There we
I'm back. Another phone call. Come on, they're giving me the axe. They're giving me the coat hanger here. No, what I was going to say is, you know, AI technology is one thing, but then we have the neuro rights aspect of it. And then the last story I was going to share, just to say, hey, this could be happening, is so for kids. I have a 13-year-old son, and the number one AI website for kids is a website called character.ai. It sounds innocent. You can chat with Harry Potter. You can chat with Godzilla. You can chat with, Dora the Explorer. Any fictional character, you can create a chat bot to chat with. That seems
Okay.
all cute and playful. One of the top 5 chatbot characters that kids chat with over the last 9 months has been psychologist bot. It's not a licensed psychologist. It's not following HIPAA that has no oath. It's just a chatbot saying it's a psychologist that kids are having this emotional connection with. And character.ai is free. It's made no money. It's collecting a lot of data, and someone like Google or Apple or like that is going to buy that website and have all that data of our kids. So it's not, that's the reason I don't want to see, one of my passions for the book and for, making sure that we understand this and using it responsibly, especially so we don't just hand over our kids to Gen AI and let them raise our kids in the future, because parenting chatbots are coming as well. And
Mhm.
kids may prefer a fatherhood bot to me, or a parenting bot to parents who are harsh or mean to them. So we want to make sure we have control as parents and as community leaders to know what's going on with this technology.
Oh wow, I didn't know that they had character AI. So I'm definitely gonna have to talk to my brothers and
Yep.
things
See if
about
their kids are on it already.
yeah, to see
It's
if my nieces and nephews are on those platforms.
yeah,
And because I know all of them have iPads, so you never know what they're viewing and things like that. And
yeah,
I definitely did not know that the information from the watches are not HIPAA regulated, because it even tells me when I'm close to dehydration and if I need to
yeah,
drink more water.
yeah.
So that's a lot of valuable content that we should really be cautious and thinking about. And also the NLCS link that you were talking about,
Oh
I
yes,
want to make sure I share that with
yeah.
them so they can have those um for.
Yeah, let me pull it up here real quick.
And I'll make sure it's shared to those who are watching so they can make sure they have that resource and have their
Yeah.
policies up to date. And then also while you're doing that, Apple has this virtual headset thing now where you can do like a virtual office and
Uh-huh.
you can do things that way. So a lot of kids I think are shifting to like the Quest headset from Facebook and the Apple headset. So that's another thing that's going to be taking over
Yep.
a lot of the
Oh
kids.
yeah. I mean,
The
the
meta.
Ray-Ban glasses now that have those lenses you can take pictures on, record
Mhm.
conversations. The wearable technology, that neurotechnology is really, making a big inroads in our society. So it is the NCSL.org website. The National Conference of State Legislatures is what has the artificial intelligence legislation list. And like I said, there's like 250 states with different AI laws that you can look up and reference and see if your business would be applicable to it.
Okay. I just dropped it in the chat so that they can have it.
Perfect.
Well, thank you so much. This was some great information. So hopefully
Good.
everybody took notes so they'll know what they need to be working on either this week or next week before 2025, because I definitely know that a lot of things are going to be rolling out around AI even harder in 2025.
Yeah, that's right. It's only going to accelerate. So make sure we understand it and can make sound decisions based off of how we want to use it responsibly.
Awesome. Well, I hope you have a great rest of your day at the conference and everything.
Oh, thank you.
And thank you again for attending this summit.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the conversation. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Bye. Okay, guys, so that was Attorney Morgan. And if you did not catch his whole conversation, he gave us a lot of valuable knowledge as business owners and things that we need to be preparing for, things that we need to be implementing as business owners as well. And I'm going to highlight a couple of them, and then we're going to ask Venetia to come back up and talk a little bit more about ChatGPT and AI. And then we'll transition to our last person of the day. So Attorney Morgan basically let us know that we need to have a privacy policy on our website, and we need to make sure that in that privacy policy that there is a section about AI and how our companies or businesses are using AI, whether we're using a heat map for analytics or if we're using it to reach out to these customers. It needs to be there. It needs to be on your opt-in page, and you also need to have some type of internal policy for your business if you have more than one employee when it comes to AI as well. The link for knowing your state legislation or any type of legislature around AI that has been set, I have dropped in the chat. So it's in ncsl.org, and you'll be able to see what things they have said about AI and what things we should and should not be doing as it relates to AI as well. We also need to make sure we're careful on the different ways that we're using AI and to protect ourselves and our company. So there are certain things, our company information, that we should not be uploading to AI, because once it's there, is really no longer our content. So making sure that you're doing risk assessments as it relates to AI on what you allow your employees to use when it comes to AI and what you're using when it comes to AI to create content and policies for your company using different AI platforms. So now let us transition and ask Venetia to come back to stage. Right. I love that. And one of the things that I would definitely say is with AI growing, there are still some kind of ethical concerns with AI out there. So how can businesses really ensure that they are using AI ethically and responsibly in the marketplace?
That is a great question. When it comes to the ethics of it, we need to make sure again that the information that is being generated makes sense. Questioning it. A lot of information is biased, even in AI, because it pulls all of its research from the biased world that we live in. So it's not always ethically accurate. It might be, I have an example. Several years ago, when AI was first becoming more mainstream, the president of my company had gone to AI and asked it to write a bedtime story for her daughter. And it wrote a great bedtime story, but everything was like the powerful stuff was all targeted like, oh, the male characters did this, or the, young male characters did this, and all the damsel in distress type stuff was based on female characters. So again, it's just, then she asked it, like, why is this the case? And AI responded, the tool responded, oh, I'm sorry, like, and then regenerated it. So ethically, we are all responsible to keep providing the right information back to AI. It is learning from everything that we are giving it to, and it is constantly learning. So as far as ethics comes, like, yes, we need to use it, with our best interest in mind, with the world's best interest in mind. But it really comes down to the person using it and then getting back to AI and telling it, questioning it, and making sure that it's not continuing to create the biases long term.
And I definitely agree. And I think that part of those biases comes in with how we use it as well. Because like when you're going into ChatGPT, for example, or maybe Poppy AI or Perplexity, if you use a specific area just for one subject, then that area becomes a subject matter. And it over time, it starts producing better content for you versus going to one chat and talking about everything. Then all of your answers come back crazy and
Right.
not really niche down. So I think that that's the key of us actually giving it the information that's needed. And in doing so, we're basically cloning ourselves through AI because we're building a better version of ourselves in the process when we're doing subject matter chats versus more broad chats. But with that being said, are there any more tips or tricks of AI and marketing that you would like to share with everybody?
Yeah, so, something that, as I mentioned, research is everything. Generating insights from these AI tools is so valuable. Scaling what we are doing is extremely important. And that's where the cream of AI comes in. It really helps us with scaling. But beyond that, the different tools that we are using, as I mentioned, AI has the ability, you can upload documents. You can ask AI to create insights based on the documents you're uploading. You can, let's say you have data, spreadsheets of data. You can upload that into AI and ask it to synthesize it so that you don't necessarily have to do it manually. Most recently, so I'm a trustee at a local association, and we held an event where we had about 250 businesses that signed up for our association, but on paper. And I was like, what am I going to do with this? This is, I need to upload this onto our website. And I was able to upload these paper documents onto ChatGPT, and it was able to take paper and turn that into text. And then now I had the names of the businesses, but I wanted to add, their address, their phone number, what these businesses do, just all this information that would have taken me at least a week to research. And this uploaded document where they had just written their names and the names of their businesses was able to turn into an entire spreadsheet where AI was able to populate for me, pulling from the internet everywhere, exactly what these businesses did, their addresses, their phone numbers, if they had a contact email address, their website link, all of this information, which then I took and then uploaded it onto the back end of my website to add it to our directory. Everything was done in less than 45 minutes. So there are just so many ways that we can be using AI to be working smart. And anything that feels tedious, anything that is so manual, anything that feels like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so much work to get this done, AI can help. And if you don't know exactly how it can help, ask it. Like, hey, I have this information. Is there any way that you can help? It has the ability to give us the response and guide us through how to make our lives better. So I would say just play around with it. It helps as a marketer because so much of our work is so tedious, and we need to be creative. We need to be data driven. We need to be research focused. We need to be generating insights. And AI really helps become that best friend that is doing the hard work for us.
Yeah. So because I know that people in the audience are going to have questions about what you just said and taking data and putting it in a spreadsheet format with AI. So if someone wanted to do that, what platform would they use?
I do really like ChatGPT because it has a paid version and it's $20 a month. So I like it, but and also it has the ability to, again, generate those Excel documents. It has the ability to generate images when I need it. So I use it every day, all day, every day for almost everything. That is one of my favorites, but only because it's so versatile. There are other tools that are more specific, but I'm really, if we are talking about, people who are just starting out, that is what I recommend. But as I said, always question it. Always question it.
Okay. So with doing that, if they're doing the Excel's spreadsheets or doing the images, they do need to be on the paid version of ChatGPT, correct?
I believe so, but you don't need for images 100%. But let's say Excel. It might not generate the document in the free version, but it will create a grid that you can then copy paste into Excel. So it won't create a document for you in the free version, but I was using the free version for a long time before I moved on to the paid version. And that was only because the paid version has the ability to remember what I'm saying, so I don't have to keep saying the same prompts every time. But yeah, I'll say, give me a framework of XYZ or give me a table with this information, and it will give me a grid, which I can just simply copy paste into Excel, and there I have it. And it's free and it's easy and it's simple.
Okay. And I think my last question of the hour would be, when it comes to marketing and using AI, how could you effectively embed it in team building?
That is interesting. So with team building, there are tools out there what are we using? There's Monday. There are all these task manager tools that are out there that can a lot of times have different pieces of information across different pages. Some people are using, like I use OneNote extensively. I've been using it since 2010, and all my notes since 2010 are in OneNote. There are people who use different tools. You know, there are people who write notes. So AI gives us the ability to upload that information and share it together. So I would say, you know, getting everybody empowered to, again, use these and then seeing how we can connect the dots. I think that is very valuable with team building as well, and making sure that we're using AI to, as I mentioned, connect the gaps, find the opportunities between the work that different people are doing by sharing it. There isn't yet a tool out there that I really like that helps us collaborate. They're all kind of individual focused. But you know, that doesn't mean that we can't use it together and learn from each other's information. And you know, I like to take the notes from 10 different people if I'm working with a team, and it can generate the best points that everybody wrote, or the common points that everybody wrote, or the common themes. So it really helps us synthesize exactly what is important for everybody. So yeah, I would just say empower everybody to use AI as much as possible, and question it and challenge it also.
Well, thank you so much for hopping on today, and thank you for sharing your insights on AI as well.
Thank you so much for having me. I hope it helps. And again, I would recommend that everybody, you know, these are just tools. Like when Google first came out, when Excel first came out, like people switched from handwriting or, you know, looking at encyclopedias to the web. So these are just tools that are there to empower us and to make us make smarter decisions and help us. So I hope that everybody puts our fear aside and learn more about it, and just, you know, do your research. It's really there to help us. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Okay, guys. So I definitely want to transition into really discussing some other elements of AI. I want to make sure that one, you know the different types of AI that you can use. And then two, I want to show you two of the other common platforms for AI that is used other than ChatGPT that has kind of been mentioned throughout the past 3 days, which is Claude and Perplexity. So I kind of want to show you the difference of how those platforms act or work. And then I also want to show you, for those who have not registered for VIP, one of the freebies that you will get with VIP is our in all inclusive list of all the different AI tools that are out there. It lets you know whether there's a trial on there, and how to use it as well. So let me pull up some of it, and I'm going to share. So this is the actual document, and it has how much it costs, whether it's a trial, what's the starter, what is it used for as well, and how it can actually help your company. So there's hundreds of AI tools that are on here that can actually help you, from accounting to creation to chatbots, and you can go through and see which tools best fit your business. We have lots of tools that my company has tried, as well as tools that some of our clients use. So this is the inclusive list that we definitely have, that's part of the VIP, that you can actually go through. So this actually ends at sale. So it's 285 and 285. So you have at least 200 AI tools that you can actually go through to see what will work or how it can help grow your business. So that is part of our VIP package that we're providing for people. And let's hop over to my other screen and do a screen share. So I want to share a window. Let's share Claude first. Okay, so this is Claude. This is Claude AI. And Claude AI, it can give you a more inclusive answer when it comes to so it can give you a more inclusive answer when it comes to things that you are researching or looking into. So one of the things Mr. Attorney Heath covered today with us were having a privacy policy on our business page. So let's ask Claude to help us develop a privacy policy because that's something he said that we can actually do. So if I was going to ask Claude to do this, I would be like, as a legal advisor, that's my persona that I want Claude to really take on. So making sure you are telling it how this policy should come from or who this policy should come from. Create an outline of a privacy policy for a beauty, we're gonna just say beauty and cosmetics include then we will send it and see what happens. So one of the things I will always say is look at what pops up as a guideline and then verify it. So, and it tells us that it has the CCPA section, which adds in the enhanced analytics. So this is the outline. I didn't tell it to create me one, but I told it to provide me an outline. The reason I said provide me an outline is because each business is different. So different products and services that you actually provide would be included in your outline. How you're collecting their information, how you're taking the cookies and tracking their information. If you don't have a cookie banner on your website, you should because you're tracking their information when you're collecting analytics. And then letting you know that there are AI enhanced analytics on here. So you're tracking customer behavior and traffic analysis, party services. So you're letting them know that you're using other platforms to collect their information. So you're not just collecting their information, but other platforms are collecting their information as well. And this is definitely important because if there is a data breach with that third party, you're still covering yourself. And they included a element, making sure you have an element for what happens with data security and implementation measures. So having this process is there. So if you're using a third party, I would definitely recommend that whatever third party software you're using, you look at what they have for data security and make sure you have it in your privacy policy, because they, whatever they're doing, you're technically doing by using them as a source or a software for your company. So having that is definitely important when it comes to actually using it and developing things. If kids are coming to your site, making sure you have that information in there. What are you doing for international data? Those are elements that you should have in a privacy policy. Your contacts information should always be in your privacy policy. If something happens that's not supposed to happen, how can they contact you? And also like additional rights of choices. So just from this, you have like a element of what you should have in your privacy policy. If your privacy policy don't have some of these elements or don't have these elements, you should make sure they have those elements. You can, if you're not doing anything for kids, you can take that section out. But these are the guidelines of things that you should definitely have within your privacy policy when it comes to having a website and you tracking information from that site. Um, so another one that I definitely want to hop on and share with you guys is the Poe platform. So Poe does a lot of things. There are so many different chat bots that you can actually use on Poe, and you can just go to this platform and just look at find the chat bot that you want to use and start creating things. So this is a great platform that you can actually go to actually just explore. And they can be game chat bots, they can be new chat bots. They are categories. If you need something for creative writing, they're categorized by of um, the type of use that each chatbot is used for. So this is another great platform that you will find on the AI tools list as well. So let's go back. Let's check out Perplexity. So Perplexity is the one that I previously talked about on how you can actually use it to make sure you're doing your research and your development when it comes to your business. Perplexity is an amazing platform to use because it gives you points of reference. But even though it gives you a footnote, you should always make sure you're verifying what is given when it comes to the information that is provided by Perplexity. So when it comes to that information, let's see. And let's see what's generated from that. I put the same thing that I basically put into Claude, but I just asked it instead of an outline, I asked it to actually to create one. So here is the example. So what it has here is, it tells you what sources that it came from. So this is one. We can click on this source and you can go to the page of that source. Um, so it has the same content, similar to Claude. However, the content is a little shorter, but there are links throughout the content so that you can actually verify it. And this literally came from California Department of Public Health. So they pulled a lot of information from the California Department of Health. So the content within, I clicked that one already. Haven't clicked this one. The content within this article came from valid resources. So this is one of the main reasons why I personally love to use Perplexity. And I think that it's better than Google, because with Perplexity, you're pulling from multiple sources. You're not just pulling from the Google search engine, but you're pulling from other sources outside of the Google search engine. You may be pulling from the Yahoo search engine, but it basically covers all of the search engines together when it comes to these elements. So remember when, like Attorney Heath just said, we need to make sure that we're covering ourselves. If you want to make sure you're covered, he said he did share that if you want to make sure you're covered by the state, you can use California, since California is a more strict state, or you can put your state policy in there. So you can replace it with your state instead of California. I use California because that was the one that was shared with us for the feedback in developing our privacy policy for our business when it comes to using AI. Um, so I would definitely say make sure you look through the 4 categories that he covered and see how you're using AI, and then making sure that you actually connect how you're using AI into your privacy policy. Make sure that you're adding that you're using AI on your opt-in pages as well, so that you're not putting your business in a place where it can be liable for a suit or liable for any type of problem that may occur. And that's the importance of making sure your business is covered and secured. So let's stop sharing. Okay, so now I am going to take a couple of questions before we transition to our next speaker, Erica, for today. And let's see, let's see, let's see, let's see, let's see. Okay. Okay, so the AI Excel spreadsheet with over 200 AI tools, how much they cost, the trial discounts and all of that. That's for the VIP section. So you get access to that within the VIP. For the past 3 days, we have shared uh, over 20 different AI platforms that you can actually use. It's just that that is our full list of everything that has not been included into the summit. So those who are on VIP get access to that list. They get access to all of the recordings and all of the additional AI resources that we have. And it's lifetime access. So it's not like there's a limit on how long you can use it. You can have it for a lifetime. Um, the next question. Okay. And so the website for where you actually go and get the see your state legislation that Attorney Heath shared, I've already put it in the chat. So that is the ncsl.org. When you go to that website, you're able to actually see what regulations your state has in place for AI. So if your state has some kind of regulation in place for AI, you should make sure that you include that into your privacy policy to make sure your business is covered, since the government is starting to roll out more regulations around AI and how businesses should be using AI. Mhm. Okay. So if you are not using AI and you get the AI list, because it can be overwhelming, I would say it's divided into categories. So I would say start out with one or two AI platforms. Don't try to go all in and go into 5 or 6 AI platforms. Start with one or two and then see how you're using those one or two for the first 30 days. And I would honestly see where you can actually need help in your business. So if you're someone who's struggling with social media, I would go and look at a social media AI first, if that's something that you're struggling with. And one of the all-time go-tos that many people use is ChatGPT. So if you're struggling with social media, you can use some of the feedback um, that Sean Smith shared today and create your content calendar using ChatGPT, but then use a scheduling platform like Later to really help you to schedule that content after you've gotten your content calendar developed by ChatGPT. So ChatGPT can literally help you with what type of images you should share with the content. It'll give you the caption with the content. It will also give you the hashtags with the content. And one of the things that I will definitely tell you is previously we were able to use on Instagram up to 30 hashtags. Now they are reducing the number of hashtags that are being used. So you can use up to 30, but many of the posts and the content that is actually getting seen and getting engagement have 5 or less hashtags, and some don't have any. So you really have to go by what platform that you're using. LinkedIn, I would definitely not use more than 2 or 3 hashtags. Facebook, I would definitely not use more than 2 or 3 hashtags. On Instagram, I use 5. On TikTok, sometimes I don't use any at all. And a lot of my videos that I haven't used hashtags on when it comes to TikTok has gotten a lot of engagement. Um, on YouTube Shorts, I would definitely say use hashtags as it helps with your SEO development, but make sure that you're using more so hashtags geared towards keywords than anything else. But when you're using ChatGPT and all of those different platforms, ChatGPT can actually help you develop your YouTube titles or your YouTube captions as well, because though they scan these platforms to actually align up with the algorithm and give you some recommendations. And on the AI tools list that we share, there are different platforms that will help you to boost up your YouTube and help you to boost up your SEO if that's something that you're struggling in your business as well. Okay. All right. So how can you use AI to help you with your sales process? When it comes to sales, it depends on what journey of the customer process it you're in. So when it comes to AI, you can use AI for the verification and qualifying process by using logic quizzes or logic forms. So based on how they answer, from that you can automate an email to get them to schedule a discovery call, or you can use AI to do cart reminders. A lot of people are doing it. Shopify does it a lot when they do abandoned cart reminders as well. You can use AI to do note drops where you can share promotional content or share promotional text messages about what's going on. So there's a lot of different ways that you can actually implement AI throughout your sales process. It can be reminder texts about an upcoming meeting. There can be a strategy call or a conversion call for a client. So it really depends on where you want to fix a bottleneck or where you want to scale at in business of how or where you should include AI. Many people put AI more so at the top of their phone to kind of weed out and qualify their people, and then use AI on the back end of things for onboarding processes and things of that nature. So I personally use it for both the qualifying and for the onboarding. And I also use it for nurturing content for my clients, where we're actually pulling our clients from social media into the CRM using AI and using it to kind of start a conversation with the client. And then once they start the conversation with the client and get the client into our CRM system from either Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn, then we are the team will reach out to that person and continue that conversation. So basically what would happen is a lot of people are not using click the link in the bio a lot anymore on Instagram or other platforms. So they're making specific comments to some of the content that's on social media. And if they make a comment referencing that actual piece of content, then the AI chatbot will respond to their content. And if they respond to the comment that the AI chatbot does, then that moves the conversation to the DM or the messenger box. And once it's moved to the DM or messenger box, then the AI will continue the conversation by getting their name, information, or email and adding it to our CRM system. And once that client is added to our CRM system, then an internal notification is sent to someone on our team to actually continue that conversation. And that's how we're using AI for some of our sales processes as well. And that kind of takes off the heavy lifting where you're not having to do cold calling, you're not having to do cold emails or random DMs in people inbox where it's going to spam, but you're able to engage the people or get people to engage your content one, and then continue that nurturing and relationship building process so that you can actually grow your business. So that's the essential part of actually using AI from the sales perspective of things. Mm, Okay, let's check over here, see if there's any more. Okay, so we have time for, I'm going to try to answer 3 more questions, um, and share a couple of more things with you guys. So one of the platforms, another platform to use that I previously mentioned, with that basically helps you with your business ideas. And this platform is for those who are kind of that scatterbrain and you have ideas but you don't know, or you want to do something but you don't know where you should get started. So this AI platform will actually help you to develop some business ideas. Okay, and let me share my screen. So this is Founder Pal. Founder Pal is an amazing platform or tool um, that you can actually use, and it does a lot. So if you click on Business Idea Generator, it pops up, and this will definitely help you to get some ideas around what you should be doing when it comes to it. So target market, you can say business owners. Well, let's put that. Let's cut that. Let's put that there. So we'll say business owners, professionals, service space. Yes. Okay. So here are some of the ideas that it pops up that you can actually use to help if you are trying to reach a target market that are looking to grow their business and get more leads. So one, they said do a lead generation board. It's a tool that basically capture data points that most businesses overlook. Um, Networking event series to do offline networking and build or get people that way to get more leads and things of that nature. Using SEO on your blog, doing an affiliate hub to help business owners to generate leads through articles. So having some type of affiliate link to share where it's cross collaboration, cold email strategies, and doing a course around that will teach business owners how to get the cold emails and how to actually develop, craft, and send these emails out, and doing an online referral marketing program. Um, which is amazing, doing client-based referrals or creating a referral program to help businesses get more leads, doing lead magnet templates for business owners, coaching services for leads. That's a service that you can offer. You can do a niche webinar production, creating webinars that are around specific topics that are relevant to business owners on how they can get more customers. And you can also do a local business networking app. So this is a amazing platform, and you can honestly just go and put in your information for your company on this platform, and this platform will either you can see whether or not you're doing some of the stuff that in your business that pops up, or you can get more ideas of things that you can tweak for your business or include in your business for sales to make sure that you're perfecting your offer um, for those clients or for your ideal target market. So this is Founder Pal AI. So this is a great tool that you can actually be using to help you generate your business ideas. Again, there is also those who are looking for more design. um there is Midjourney does have a learning curve. You can try out Firefly by Adobe, and that's a text to image platform. They do fairly well, but sometimes it doesn't do well with text. So the best one that I know that does well with text is Grok. But the best one that does text to image is Flux. So what I would definitely say is if you are doing it, I honestly a lot of times connect, take the images from Flux and then put it on another platform so that I can actually add text into the images that are created. So that's a great way that you can actually develop your images if you want to kind of create an image that's more so crafted to your brand when it comes to AI. And another, let me see, make sure I cover all the questions about AI. Okay, so we covered ChatGPT, we covered Midjourney, we covered Flux, covered Glock. I share with you Poe and Claude. And the whole thing is when it comes to using AI for your business, one of the biggest foundations of your business is your marketing and sales. You're not a business if you're not making money. So using these platforms so that you can actually use the past method and grow your business. And when I'm saying the past method is as a business, you are finding a problem first of all that you're wanting to serve. And then when you're putting your content out there, you're agitating the problem, but also after the agitation of the problem or highlighting the problem for that specific target market, then you're providing a solution. And the solution is basically you. The solution is your product or your service. And you're actually using AI to help you to enhance the agitation element, or you are asking AI to enhance the solution part or enhance the problem. You can use AI to find the problem, or you can use platforms like FounderPal and find solutions to the problem that you can actually offer to the client through your process of actually going into things. So that is the key of knowing what element or where you are in the process so that you can make sure that you're hitting all 3 points. Because if you don't fully know the problem, you can't really provide a full solution. And then if you don't know the pain points of the problem, of what they're struggling with within that problem, then you can't fully provide a solution. So making sure you've actually sat down and created a guideline of your past method that's going to let you know what stage your customer is going through and your customer journey. Within your customer journey, your customer should go through that full stage. They should be able to see their problem in your content that you're putting out. They should be able to connect and have that relationship with you off of those pain points that you're highlighting, and then they should be like, okay, I see they understand me and they can provide a solution or the results that come thereafter. So that is the key to actually making sure that you're going from point A to point B in your funnel of getting new clients, and actually making money in business. And again, AI is just to be leveraged and to enhance those things. Don't try to use AI as a replacement, but remember that it's just to make you better. It's to make you think more critically and to make your business better. And let us prepare for our next speaker. Get her pulled to the stage. Oh, why is she not connecting? Okay. So we have another amazing person that is going to hop onto the stage on today. I'm super excited to actually have her. She's actually from Canada. And she will be going through a lot of information that is important for today. So I'm super excited about that. So as we prepare for her, I am going to go off camera so that she can come on. Okay, guys, she is connecting. And while she's connecting, I can answer any more questions. So if you have a question on AI, just drop it in the chat and we'll definitely get to it. And I will, hold on, yes, I can drop the VIP page in the chat for those who don't have it. Let me do that. Okay. Okay, so I just pinned the VIP page. And yes, I can show the tool, the AI tool sheet that has over 200 AI tools that you can uh, actually see that comes with VIP. So these are the tools, and this is the list. So the list lets you know how much it costs to use the platform, the name of the platform, what the platform is used for, what comes with each plan of the platform, if that platform has a trial period. So all of these tools are have elements of AI for your business. They go into categories um, as well. So if it's voice AI, headshots, coding, interior design, accounting, webinars, this platform has everything. Well, this spreadsheet has all of the content for the different types of AI. There is even a Google Grant Finder AI. So those who are looking for funding, we have a AI tool that can help you with funding and finding those grants. So yes, this is a large list, and those who have VIP has access to that list, as well as the replay of all of the events. And let me bring Erica to the stage. Hey, Erica.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going well. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself, and then I'm just going to turn it over to you.
Awesome. So, hi everyone. I'm Erica. I'm a business optimization specialist. And today I'm going to prioritize and focus on LinkedIn, AI, and all the businesses that I've run, how I've been able to connect with people, and some of the tools and tactics I've been able to get there. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. All right. Can you all see my screen? Can you comment in the chat if you can see my screen?
So it's showing multiple. Not sure why. Okay, now it's right.
Okay, perfect. All right. So first and foremost, thank you for actually sharing all those AI tools and for different categories. So I'll be focusing on LinkedIn specifically and how I supercharge my connections to be even more powerful, but without spending so much time on it and also the workup and warm up around it. So, what you're going to actually take away from today is LinkedIn 101. So, what I mean by that is we're not going to go over a profile picture, but beyond the surface and some of the things that I've learned to really take things from 0 to 100. Also, learning what a competitive edge is and how to gain one, the cleanup and the warm up, along with some strategy and execution with AI tools, and even more AI tools to get you basically like the tools of the trade, and then what's working and what's not. So a little bit about me. I am a social butterfly. I like to network, and I would say at least 4 or 5 meetings a day are virtual connections. Um, I developed my first patent in 2016, started an Amazon FBA store, went back to school, graduated from Humber, joined as the executive director of sales, then went to start on my marketing career, opened a marketing agency, and bought a franchise with a business called Schoolie Mitchell, where I also have a business partner. And through all of that, I had to learn how to network in many different industries and go out there and hustle. And one of the things that I learned, especially when I started my agency, was I used to practice and say and tell people, you got to get out there, you got to do this, this, and this. And once I started my own franchise with Schoolie, instead of marketing all day long, I had to learn how to say, okay, I have all these different hats on. What can I do to make these things more efficient and to keep adding on those tools every single day? Before we get into that, I also want to connect with you guys and get to know you. So I did put a barcode if you wanted to connect with me on LinkedIn, and I can provide a free audit of your business expenses. So when I talk about like LinkedIn 101, everyone thinks like, oh, it's your profile picture and your banner and things like that. But one thing I want to go over before I get into the AI tools that made a huge difference is the riches are in the niches. And if you don't tailor your profile to a very specific target audience or a certain group of people, number one, it's going to be very hard for the algorithm to understand who you're trying to target. And number two, when it comes to AI, machine learning, how do you train the AI to understand who you're trying to target? So for me, for example, I focused on construction trades and contractors. Now, you can change that 6 months from now, but if I have that for a certain amount of time, at least I'm getting those prospects and those people into my network. The other key piece, and everyone forgets about this, but it's the SEO component. And some of you are thinking, well, why do I need SEO for LinkedIn? Your about section and your headline are key when you're connecting with people on events or if people are just searching for you, and your about section is going to take some of those pieces of information and it's going to get actually picked up by AI and the algorithm so that you can be shown to the right people. And another key piece is, so I mentioned about the target audience, but it's also about finding your persona. And when you find your persona and you're able to tailor your content and tailor that feature section and showcase your work, it makes it clear for the human behind the computer to understand, oh, this is what they do. But also, as I said, the AI and the algorithm. Now, some of you listening to this might say, well, I already did this. And one of the things that I learned from my LinkedIn coaches is sometimes it's not always that clear. So, for those that are in the audience, have any of you heard of a social selling score on LinkedIn? Or do you know what your social selling score is on LinkedIn? So I put it in here in the link if you want it, or if you just type it in on Google, like SSI LinkedIn, and then you open up your LinkedIn profile, it'll actually give you a score. And if you want, you can scan the barcode, it'll open up right away. And so when I first got onto LinkedIn and started looking at all this stuff, I thought that I was doing a great job. I had my banner, I had everything all into place. And then I realized that I fell within this mark, within the score over here, which is 40 to 49%. So what does that mean? It means your profile is complete and you know the basics of LinkedIn. But what it said was based off of my connections, who I was connecting to, my content, and how I was presenting myself, I wasn't doing a very good job. And where you want to strive for, of course, is to be above average and leverage LinkedIn as a marketing tool. Now, when you get to this level, the 70 to 80%, you now become within the top 5% on LinkedIn for a certain industry. And when you're in there, that gives the algorithm and the AI a chance to say, hey, you know what? Here's some of the content that we can produce. Now, this is where you stand within your social realm. Now, it's also important, and what I've done over time is understand where you are in comparison to your competitors. So I reverse engineer everything, and I will look at the content that they're producing, what their headlines are like, their banners, who they're connected to, the events that they're going to, do they have any newsletters? But a good baseline to start off with and a couple tools to consider is one called socialstatus.io as well as Rival IQ. With that, and I used to, because I was in marketing in the past, these tools here, I was able to see what people are posting, not just on LinkedIn, but on Instagram, Twitter, which is now X, TikTok, and I've been doing it for so long that most people just post the same stuff across every single platform. So through their content, and these are free tools, by the way, if you use the resource section, you'll be able to see from their content what's actually working and what's not. So you can utilize that in your strategy as you move forward. Through that as well, you'll be able to see who's a ghost on LinkedIn and who's a lurker. What does that even mean? A ghost is when someone is on LinkedIn, but they're not posting anything, they're not commenting, they're not doing anything. And a lurker is somebody that's posting, contenting, and those are the people that you want to get connected with. Which brings me into the next piece of before we're setting up all of our AI tools is the cleanup and the warm-up. So a lot of people will tell you, hey, I have all these AI tools and you can implement them today. And the reality is you can do that, but if you don't warm it up, sometimes what's going to happen is LinkedIn's going to say, oh, they're using an AI tool, or they're using this, or they're using this. You're going to go into LinkedIn jail. Think of it as a warm up to your workout. Or if you're eating McDonald's for a week, your body's going to say what's going on here? So before you're implementing some of these tools, here's the things that I've done that have been very helpful, not only to saying, okay, like here's my audience, here's what I'm doing, go, 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 go. It's a warm up. So you want to be adding 20 to 25 new people in your niche every single day, maximum 100 per week. So that the tool that you're going to use to add these people, it's not saying, oh, okay, they haven't added anybody before, now they're adding people. The other piece that you want to do is you want to go through your list of connections and see who you're actually connected with or you need to reconnect with. This is going to say to your audience as well as LinkedIn, okay, this person's becoming more and more active and they're getting back on the platform. Let's start pumping out more content to them and pumping out their content out. And also, if you're targeting a very specific audience, if you haven't connected with them in the past, get rid of them. Because if they're a dud, they're a dud. If you're connecting with people, here's the other piece. And this is something I learned from my LinkedIn coach. If they haven't connected with you after 3 weeks and they're a lurker, just delete them. They're not interested, or they're not interested at this time. Add them later down the road. And in the following order, you're going to scroll for 20 minutes, then comment, then like. So don't do a like, then a comment. You're going to post, and then you're going to repost with no thoughts. This way, at the end of the day, you're getting your prospects and connections ready for what's to come. Now, here's where the golden nuggets happen. So one thing that I've observed and I've learned over time, and also through my marketing agency, is you want to post or schedule post in the LinkedIn app. You can use Hootsuite, you can use later.com. There's many different scheduling tools. When you're posting right in the tool, you're leveraging all of the aspects and all of the elements that they have to offer. When you start using some of the other tools now, it's almost like a negative impact. You want to go through, again, like that, your list, and see what people are posting. And a couple of things or tools that I like to use and I have found to be super helpful is Supergrow, Taplio, Copy AI, and Authored Up. Now, you don't have to get all of these tools. You can start with one. You can just use ChatGPT. What I've done in the past and what I still do to this day is these are the two that I use most frequently right here, Copy AI and Authored Up. What I do is, and what you can do is sign up for the free trial, look at the structure that they're using, and you're going to use that into the content that you're going to be producing, and use that same formula, see what's working, and what doesn't work. But out of all of these tools, what I found to be most helpful, and this is actually from my LinkedIn coach, is here's what I put into ChatGPT. Create 10 LinkedIn posts with the following structure. Start with the hook, then go in with a subhook, teaser, you're going to add some substance, your wrap up, your call to action, and your hashtags. Now, with LinkedIn, hashtags are kind of diminishing. That's why I put it here as optional. But these key pieces, any AI tool that you're using, you want this structure, because this is what gets you that 200x% on your posts. And with all of that, you don't want to be posting the same stuff all the time. But what I'll even put into my prompt is I'm trying to attract, I'm trying to nurture, I want to convert. If you're a real estate agent and you're constantly just converting and posting your houses all the time and not sharing your tips and tricks, your myths, your comparisons, people get bored of that. So one thing throughout, when you're putting it into the system, make sure you're having a bit of both in there, or of all three. Now, I shared with you some of the tools that I use when it comes to content. So Copy AI, Taplio, Authored Up, Supergrow. The other two that I also love is Commenter.ai and Content Drips. So Content Drips will actually create the visuals for you. So it takes it up that next level from Canva, along with the content that you're trying to produce. So if I say, I'd like to post about a book, let's say Tools of the Trade, or Tools of the Titan, which is on my desk, I can put that in there and it'll create a couple pieces and it's ready to go. You'll also notice here that I haven't put any outreach tools. The only one that I put in here was Loom. And from my experience, from my clients' experience, you can put out outreach tools. But one thing that I learned from actually somebody at LinkedIn is if you're using the same speech in your 25 connections every day, you are going to get flagged. Now, what I found to be super helpful, And people have actually reached out when I've personally gone out and said, hey, I really like this about this or this about this, is it's more personalized. Now, why I like Loom is I can be recording like how I am right now or on camera, talking about a certain feature, and they know it's actually me and not a bot. So that's kind of, I would say, a downside of it. You got to be very careful with the outreach tools that you are using. And what I'm going to say next is, with all of that, I know that was a high level overview, but with that, you just got to find out what works and what doesn't work. But the key pieces, I would say, is use AuthorEd for your content and Copy AI. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to create your content under an hour for LinkedIn. All right, that's a little bit about me. If you want to connect, if you want to learn more about some of my strategies further, please connect with me on LinkedIn. You can also scan the barcode here. And if you're interested in a free audit, let me know. All right, and I'm going to hand it back over.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Erica. That was some great information. I did see one question. So the question was around the so no, it's more than one question. Okay. So around the stroll for 20 minutes, comment, like, and post. So when are you telling them when they first get on LinkedIn, they should stroll and look up at other people's profiles first, and then afterwards do a comment on somebody's profile, and then like somebody's profile, and then create their own post and repost their own post, or repost someone else's post?
Okay, let's dive into that a little bit more detail, because this is a whole beast in itself. So someone from LinkedIn gave me a tip a little while ago about how the algorithm's working. So if you're just on your dashboard, you're scrolling, you're like looking at content, you're not necessarily in prospecting mode yet. You're going to scroll for 20 minutes, don't do any actions. It's going to signify to LinkedIn that you're active.
Okay.
Now, what most people do is they'll like, and then comment. That's what 90% of people do. So when you start commenting and showing substance, and that's where the commenter AI tool comes in, and then you're reversing it in order. So it's saying, oh, they're putting out substance. Then when you're putting out substance, what's going to happen is let's say half an hour before your scheduled post goes out, you're signifying to those people that there's something coming through, and then there's something coming through again because your post is going to be at the top of their notifications.
Okay.
And then this part here, I tried to dig in and find out why, but she said reposting without thoughts is preferred more than reposting without thoughts is better than reposting with thoughts. She didn't give me the reasoning behind it, but I've tried it, and that's actually the case. I don't know why.
Oh, wow. So, but is it reposting your own content or someone else's?
I would say a mix of both, but it's better if you're reposting somebody else's content, and when it's not with a link in it, because LinkedIn and any social media platform wants you to stay on the platform as long as possible. So if there's a link to an article, that means that you're jumping off of the platform.
Right.
Now that's I guess you can say, like, the algorithm for the scrolling piece. Now, if you're going after a certain target, it's going to be very similar. You're going to view their profile. Second of all, look to see if they're a lurker or if they're a ghost. If they're a ghost, don't even bother with them. Target them a different way. Maybe email them, give them a phone call. They're not active on LinkedIn. You're wasting your time. The lurkers, view their profile. If you're going to connect with them, write a little blurb about something that they posted. Show that you're not just about like, hey, love to connect. That's not going to help. And then after that, comment on their posts and then go in and look to see if there's any other mutual connections in common, because you could also use that in your connection request. Once they connect with you, then go in maybe a day or 2 days later, then go in with, hey, or your Loom video or a voice note, hey, I love this, this, and this, and this, to show that, again, you're not a bot and you're this authentic person. That was a bit of a long answer, a bit of a tangent, but I hope I answered your question.
Yes, you did. Okay, so the next question is, when you're trying to grow on LinkedIn, should you be using a spreadsheet to keep up with who you're connecting with?
Okay, so this is a good question because I'm going to say yes and no. If you have the sales navigator tool,
Mhm.
there's a way that you can, check it off and put them into like filters, and you have your own spreadsheet. So if you're actually very serious and you have, phone calls that you're doing, email marketing, all of that stuff, yeah, you should put in a spreadsheet. You should put how many times you've reached out, when you reached out, how you reached out. Because again, like some people might not be active on LinkedIn,
Mhm.
but I'll go to an event and I'll say, hey, I connected with you on LinkedIn. I'd love to learn more about this, this, and this. And they're like, oh, yeah. And then the next day sometimes they'll connect with you because it's not warm enough yet. So absolutely.
Okay. And then I know you, I know I saw on your presentation, you said that after 3 weeks, if they have not connected, to remove those connections. Um, so just making sure, like you just hinted, like you connected with them, but they didn't reach out to you, and then you say you connected. So if they had not connected with you within that time, you just remove it, and then if you see them at the event, you send them a new connection.
So how LinkedIn works is, so let's say I do 25 connections today, and then 2-3 weeks from now, I see that they viewed my profile and they didn't click confirm.
Mhm.
I will remove them because what it signifies to LinkedIn is that you're spamming people. And yes, that's what we want to do. We want to prospect. We want to get in front of more eyes. But
Right.
if your connection request is low, that's telling LinkedIn like you're being very spammy. So there's like a 2 to 3 week window that you want to delete it. Now, what's going to happen is you're going to get that pop up that says, hey, just so to confirm, you won't be able to add this person for another 2 weeks to a
Time frame.
month.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Right. And that's fine because you can connect with them a different time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I remember when I started doing that at the beginning of the year, I was like, "Oh, I didn't even realize that this was even an option," because I was just playing around on the platform, and I stumbled across it, and I was like, "Oh, delete." I just started deleting. I was like, I don't even remember who this person was. So I started deleting different requests and things like that. So I definitely get that piece. And what was the other question? Hold on. There was one more.
Guys, keep the questions. I love it. That's why I'm here.
Okay. For the your social score, your social selling index score, it's broken down into different pieces or different categories. How do you go about improving those different categories?
Okay, so on the social index score, right? It'll have brand awareness, it'll have engagement. It's got what you where you perform in your top industry.
Mm-hmm.
How you're going to be able to see how you're improving is first of all, you got to check it every week. It's like unfortunately going on the scale every week to see if you lost a couple pounds. But what you're going to do is, and that's why I tell people when you're picking your niche or a certain target, if it says that you're in the 89th percentile, it means that it hasn't figured out that you're in a certain industry. So
Okay.
you gotta go to the gym. You gotta go to the gym to, at the end of the day, see the results on the scale. So you gotta be posting, you gotta be connecting. Another piece of that too is the connection, you have a connection score. So how many people are you actually connecting with? What is the quality of that connection score? And for your industry or how you're reaching out to people, that's going to vary each week. Now, I want people to also take this with a grain of salt. It's not going to be perfect, but it'll give you an idea of where you need to improve. Sorry?
This is the first time I checked mine, but I said that I'm in the top 20%.
Okay, so that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
But I don't get, and it's weird because I don't do any posts from LinkedIn personally. I actually use a scheduler.
So if you know what, if it works, it works. I just found for me when I use the LinkedIn scheduler based off of my, like, I kind of change my variables every week.
Well,
mine went up.
So let me correct that. I'm gonna correct that. I use the scheduler, but this week for all of the presenters, I've been going in through the app, posting you guys' images on LinkedIn. So I'm wondering if that had an impact with any of it, because I've been doing that for this week and a little bit of last week to actually promote the event.
Well, you know what? Take the measurement from this week, and then you have to kind of see what works and what doesn't work. I found for me when I
drop next week if I don't do what I've been doing for the past 8 days.
check,
I'm gonna test it. Yeah, that's gonna be a good test. I'm gonna definitely test that out. Next week, I'm not gonna post from the app and then see if the score drops the next week. And then I'll know like what fluctuations to include. But oh yeah, back to the question. Went down a rabbit hole. Yeah, so with the 4 components of the score, for those who are trying to grow that or fix those components and get a higher score, what do you recommend? So I know one of them is in your brand, your professional brand.
yes. So this is where you're going to go in and you want to fix your profile. You want to make sure that you're in your particular category and you're sticking with it with a certain amount of time. It's kind of like, again, if you do abs at the gym and you do it for 2 days and then you come back to your trainer and say, well, I don't have abs yet. You have to be consistent with your content and who you're targeting to have that score, for that brand awareness score to increase. I would also say the types of content and the content that you're producing. Here's the good thing about LinkedIn. There's very few people that are actually in the top 1%. And then there's actually very few people that are posting at all. If you look at the stats, there's like 2 different types of people on LinkedIn, or 3 different types of people. You have your influencers, your lurkers, and your ghosts. So if you can be consistent with your content and post and connect with people, and you spend, let's say, 30 minutes a day doing that, there's no reason why that score should increase. But you got to work it. You don't have, maybe if you want to do it every day, I would recommend that. But even if you do it like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it's going to make a big difference.
Yeah, and plus, it's not like you have to intentionally post on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn does allow you to schedule your post out. So it's just taking the time to actually use the platform to schedule that post out.
Exactly. And I think a lot of people think that it's all about like posting for this brand awareness. And when you're on LinkedIn, it's not Instagram, it's not TikTok. When you're connecting with C-level suite decision makers, they're not scrolling. If you can even just connect with them and get in their mailbox, that will make a big difference. They're not always going to see your content.
Right. Yeah. And so LinkedIn has this video feature. So do you think that's impacting any of the brand awareness as well? You uploading like short form videos and going live, is that helping increase brand awareness and things like that?
Huge, huge. Now, you're a business owner and you're saying to yourself, I have this, I have to contact this person, I have accounting at the end of the night. When am I going to have time to film? And if you can even film 2 or 3 times a month, and you have that, I actually, if you use that same structure that I presented, which
Mhm.
is your hook, your sub hook, even if you got, let's say, stock, like the faceless content that's being promoted quite a bit lately, it's gonna make a big difference. Now, you got to be very careful. I didn't put it in my presentation today because you have to be very careful with those tools. But if you can just get in front of the camera and do it, yeah, it's gonna make a big difference. Absolutely.
Okay. And also, so you did cover the relation building aspect of it, um, when you were telling that after like 3 weeks, removing people and how you should come stroll 20 minutes, comment, like, post, and repost. So, do you have any insights on how to find the right people you should be engaging
Okay.
for connections?
So first and foremost, go on their profile, see if they're a lurker or if they're a ghost. If they haven't been on LinkedIn, if they haven't commented, they haven't posted, they haven't done anything in 30 days, scrap them all together. That's the first thing. And I believe I already mentioned that. Second thing is if you're targeting a very specific niche, you already know who your audience is. You got to sit down with yourself and say, like, for example, for me, I'm in construction trades and contractors. That's who I'm targeting. Now, here's a bit of a piece that if you want to invest in it, it might be good. Maybe check it out for a month. But the Sales Navigator tool, when you put in the certain filters that I just mentioned, they've been on LinkedIn for 30 days, they're C-level suite, they're in this industry. It'll tell you the revenue that company is making, how many employees. So then you can put that into your target list and then start reaching out to them. So that's one way to do it. Now, let's say you're like, listen, I cannot invest in another tool. And that's why even today, I didn't put a ton of tools that you guys need to invest in because I know what it's like when it adds up. Now, the other piece of it too is you can go into their friends or you can go to an event. That events are great when you're trying to get your target audience. So if they're attending an event on LinkedIn, just go in and say, hey, great to connect with you. Looking forward to this event. I'd love to see this, and this.
Okay.
When it comes to the relationship building piece of it as well, don't make it like an email, 2-liners. That's it. And I just go for it. Like, what's the worst that someone can say? Like, they're gonna, oh yeah, I don't want to connect with you. Okay, no problem. But when you have your target in place and you focus on that certain niche, it eventually it's gonna come full circle. And then, like, I connected with somebody the other day, like, we have 25 connections in common. Why haven't we connected? And if you're trying to get to the decision maker, here's another piece. If you're trying to get to the decision maker and they're they're a lurker, they don't really post that much. What you're going to do is connect with somebody in HR or also somebody in a certain department within that company, so that when your connection gets requested, like, oh, okay, they have 2 more connections. Like, this must be good. So it goes from third connection to second to first.
Okay. Yeah, so because I definitely, and many times, like when people send me requests, if I don't see at least a certain number of mutual connections, I don't accept it.
See?
Yeah. So
So
I
then,
definitely understand that.
Yeah, and then if you're at an event, if you say, "Yeah, I'm going to this event," it'll show, "Oh yeah, so and so is also going to this event." It's like it's a warm up.
Okay. Well, Erica, thank you so much for your insights on LinkedIn. I think that this gave a lot of value, and especially with the score, because I've never thought about my social selling score from LinkedIn. But yeah, now that I know of it, I'm definitely going to be watching it now, and I'm also going to see if I can get from the top 20% to the top 10%. I'm gonna push myself. That's gonna be a goal for next quarter. So that's definitely going to be fun. Playing around with.
Do it. And then and for those that are still listening, for when the algorithm understands that you're in the top 10%, you're in the top 1%, and you're producing that content. When you use those AI tools, it just makes it so much easier for them to know your tone, your professionalism. If you want long-term, short-term content. And when it machine learns what you're already doing and who you're going after, it makes it easier. But if you don't have those steps in place, you have the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and AI is not going to be your friend.
Right. Yeah, because I know like when I log into the app, I'm it's funny how they automatically start connecting me or recommending connections with me based off of my target market every time I log in. So I definitely can see like the benefits of being niche specific. So if people aren't being niche specific, I don't think the recommendations will be as good as the ones that you're getting to as well from LinkedIn.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you again for hopping on, and definitely make sure that they get your link, and then the link to the social selling IQ score that you scan. You can drop all of those, and those are on the to make sure that we have on the website so they can actually get access to those again as well.
And absolutely. And guys, I'd love to connect. Let's chat. Let's have a virtual coffee. I do a lot of networking. I might have somebody that might be of interest to you, or vice versa.
Awesome. Thank you again, Erica.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. So that was our last presenter of today. I hope you guys enjoyed today. Erica gave us some amazing content on LinkedIn. So if you are a business owner and you do not have a LinkedIn profile, this is your time to actually start it. Businesses can make great relationships from actually using LinkedIn. So I would definitely recommend that you use LinkedIn so that you can grow your business and make those kind of relationships and become an expert in your niche. So until next time, if you guys hear my little dog barking in the background, I don't know what he's barking at. But until next time, um, I look forward to seeing you guys at day 4 of this event. Tomorrow is going to be amazing. Me and Anthony Pritchard are going to deep dive into how to use AI to get content and to actually rank on Google using that content that you create from AI. So I will see you guys on tomorrow. Have an amazing rest of your day.